Chapter 237. The flames and lightning at the entrance of Heixian Hall have weakened. Let's enter Heixian Hall. Yan Qiuyang's expression changed when he saw that the flames and lightning outside Heixian Hall had weakened. He spoke coldly to the people around him. Then, Yan Qiuyang took the lead and walked forward towards Heixian Hall. Whoosh! At this moment, when Yan Qiuyang and the others were heading towards Heixian Hall, a stream of light streaked across the sky. Soon, the stream of light rushed into Heixian Hall. Someone had entered Heixian Hall first. Someone entered Heixian Hall first? Yan Qiuyang and the others' expressions changed when they saw this scene. Their faces darkened as they said anxiously, "Let's speed up. We can't let that person take the lead." Then, Yan Qiuyang and the others sped up and chased after the person in front of them. Yan Qiuyang's expression was ferocious as he chased after the person in front of him. He gritted his teeth and said, "No matter who you are, you will definitely die if you try to snatch what belongs to me, Yan Qiuyang." Yan Qiuyang was very angry now. He did not expect to encounter so much trouble on this trip to Heixian Hall. He had just taken care of a brat who gave him a headache. In the blink of an eye, another troublemaker had appeared and wanted to ruin his good deed. This kind of thing had already touched the bottom line of his tolerance. As Yan Qiuyang and the others moved forward swiftly, it wasn't long before they'd entered the hall as well. As soon as they entered Heixian Hall, they saw many passageways appear before them. These passageways were like dragon boat racing venues. There was a black iron boat in each river. Judging from the current situation, it seemed that if they wanted to reach the other side, they would have to use these boats. However, what puzzled everyone was that there was a red furnace beside the boat in the river, emitting a terrifying heat wave. At this moment, after the people from Puppet Kingdom scanned the scene before them, they suddenly saw a young figure standing in one of the passageways. This person should be the one who entered Heixian Hall first. It's him. After seeing this person's appearance, the expressions of the Puppet Kingdom's people changed, and they all revealed shocked expressions. This person was actually Mo Qinyun. Mo Qinyun actually did not die and escaped from the attack of Yan Qiuyang's Pill Palace. Moreover, he entered Heixian Hall in front of them. After this discovery, the people from Puppet Kingdom felt a little sullen and gloomy in their hearts. In the previous confrontation, Heixian's Soul Seal, Yan Qiuyang's Soul Seal Hall was also used martial art Seal. Yan Yan's Xian Hall used martial success used twos pills Yan's. Forced Yan's palaces martials solits escape. Xian Sun, there was Xian saws. In this way, they seem to have suffered a crushing defeat in the previous confrontation outside Heixian Hall. After thinking about this, the people from Puppet Kingdom couldn't help but feel defeated. "Kid, you're still alive." Seeing Mo Qinyun not far away, Yan Qiuyang's face turned gloomy. He gritted his teeth as he spoke. He felt extremely humiliated that he wasn't able to kill Mo Qinyun even after using the Pill Palace's celestial spirit. "You guys aren't dead, so how can I be dead?" Hearing Yan Qiuyang's words, Mo Qinyun didn't take it to heart. He curled his lips and replied to Yan Qiuyang, "Eighth Prince, let's join hands and kill this kid. He's in Heixian Hall now. This time, he won't be able to escape." As soon as the people from Puppet Kingdom finished speaking, they looked at Mo Qinyun with hatred and attacked Mo Qinyun. "Stop!" Seeing this person attack, Yan Qiuyang's expression changed and he tried to stop him. However, his words were still too slow. As he spoke, the person had already leaped forward and struck out with his palm. Boom! However, when this person attacked, a black gas blasted towards him at an extremely fast speed, instantly blasting him into dregs and turning him into dust. Hiss! Seeing this, everyone's expression changed and they sucked in a breath of cold air. Fear was written all over their faces. The person who attacked was at the peak of True Energy Realm Level 8. Even so, a black gas was able to turn him into ashes. The black gas was too terrifying. Everyone, don't be reckless. Hexian Hall has Hexian's Qi. If you attack here, you'll be attacked by the Hexian's Qi. After the person was destroyed by the black gas, Yan Qiuyang's expression turned gloomy. He reminded the people around him, Hexian Hall has a total of 3 tests. It won't be too late to deal with that kid after we pass the 3 tests. Yes, 8th Prince. Hearing Yan Qiuyang's words, the people from Puppet Kingdom immediately nodded in response and looked at Emo Qingyun with hatred. The first test is called Hard to Cross. At this moment, Yan Qiuyang explained to the people around him, if you want to reach the other side, you have to row over with the help of this small boat. However, if you want to row over, you have to float the small boat. Yan Qiuyang continued, if you want to float the small boat, you have to use the furnace beside the small boat. You have to continuously throw things into the furnace to melt them into liquid. Then, you can lift the small boat up. Speaking of which, the first test is one of wealth? I see. Hearing Yan Qiuyang's explanation, the people from Puppet Kingdom immediately understood and knew how to pass the first test. At this moment, one of them looked at Yan Qiuyang in confusion and asked, 8th Prince, can any item be used? That's right. Yan Qiuyang nodded and said in a deep voice, however, in comparison, metal refining materials have the best effect. The people from the Puppet Kingdom rejoiced when they heard Yan Qiuyang's words. They said in pleasant surprise, 8th Prince, everyone from our Puppet Kingdom has a large amount of puppet refining materials in their cosmos pouches. This stage is nothing difficult for us. Immediately after, the people from Puppet Kingdom began to throw the refining materials into the furnace to melt them into liquid and float the small boat. At this moment, when the people from Puppet Kingdom threw the refining materials into the furnace, they were all proud and showed off to Emo Qingyun. Boy, are you so poor that you don't have anything to throw into the furnace to melt into liquid to lift the small boat up? We have a lot of refining materials in our cosmos bags. Do you want us to give you some? Boy, you'd better wait obediently at the side and watch us row over. I think this Xiaoxin must be very depressed right now. It's as uncomfortable as a fly that ate shit. That's right. This boy was the first to enter Hexian Palace, but he can only watch us go over. He must be very depressed. At this moment, the people from Puppet Kingdom were all proud and mocking Emo Qingyun. They seemed to be able to see Emo Qingyun's envious expression as they all rowed to the other side. However, while the people from Puppet Kingdom were proud, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and thanked them. So this is how I pass. Thank you for telling me how to pass. With that, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately began to throw the refining materials into the furnace. Seeing Emo Qingyun's actions, the faces of the people from Puppet Kingdom immediately became rather ugly. Their actions at this moment seemed to have lifted a rock only to drop it on their own feet. They had solved Emo Qingyun's problem. After discovering this, Yan Qiuyang's face immediately paled. He berated the people beside him. You idiots, if you ruin my plans because of this, I won't forgive you. 8th Prince, please calm down. We were wrong. The faces of the people from Puppet Kingdom immediately twitched when they heard Yan Qiuyang's words. Fear filled their faces. Yan Qiuyang's expression changed slightly when he saw everyone's expressions. He looked at Emo Qingyun and said coldly, Boy, even if you know how to pass, the materials required are not something you can afford. Really? The corners of Emo Qingyun's mouth twitched when he heard Yan Qiuyang's words. He smiled faintly and said, Since that's the case, then take a good look and see if I have enough materials. The moment he spoke, Emo Qingyun's hand movements immediately sped up. He frantically threw in refining materials into the smelting furnace. When it came to the quantity of materials, Emo Qingyun was no weaker than Yan Qiuyang and the others. He had a stockpile of several thousand people's worth of materials. Under Emo Qingyun's crazy throwing, the amount of liquid in his river immediately increased rapidly. Before long, the amount of liquid in Emo Qingyun's river had far surpassed the people from Puppet Kingdom. Yan Qiuyang's face immediately sank when he saw this. He seemed to have miscalculated again. As for the other people from Puppet Kingdom, they paled in fright. Cold sweat covered their foreheads. From the looks of it, Emo Qingyun really might be able to pass through easily because of what they had done earlier. How is this possible? How does this kid have so many materials? This must be fake. How could this kid have more refining materials than us? I know. This kid killed several thousand people outside the treasure trove of the 9 temples. He must have obtained his materials from them. Oh no, I actually forgot about that. We're in trouble now. Looks like this kid really is going to pass through easily. We seem to have ruined the 8th prince's plans. At that moment, the people from Puppet Kingdom all became gloomy. Panic rose up within them. Originally, they wanted to use this opportunity to mock Emo Qingyun, but they never thought that they would end up helping Emo Qingyun instead. This outcome made them extremely depressed. Their current actions could be said to be shooting themselves in the foot. However, they could not be blamed for that. How could they have imagined that after Emo Qingyun killed those thousands of people outside the 9 palaces vault, he would collect all of their Qiankuan bags and carry them with him? Emo Qingyun smiled faintly when he saw the expressions of the people from Puppet Kingdom. He said, I have no less materials than you. You've miscalculated this time. The people from Puppet Kingdom immediately became furious when they heard Emo Qingyun's words. However, they could not do anything to Emo Qingyun. Chapter 238. Emo Qingyun did not pay attention to Yan Qiuyang and the others. He focused on throwing refining materials into the furnace. Under Emo Qingyun's crazy throwing, the solution in the river quickly increased. At the same time, the boat slowly floated up. The boat floated up in the solution, which meant that Emo Qingyun could row the boat across the river. However, Emo Qingyun did not immediately start rowing the boat. Instead, he continued to throw refining materials into the smelting furnace. His idea was that if more liquid was smelted, the buoyancy would be greater. In that case, it would be easier for him to row later. Besides, he had a lot of refining materials on him, so he did not lack this little bit. However, compared to Emo Qingyun, the situation of the people from the Puppet Kingdom was not so optimistic. As time passed, the speed at which they threw in refining materials became slower and slower. Every time they threw in refining materials, they would have to think about it, as if they were comparing the value of the materials. Seeing the actions of the people from the Puppet Kingdom, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and mocked them. Didn't you say that there were a lot of refining materials? Why is it so slow? Could it be that you've run out of refining materials? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, the expressions of the people from the Puppet Kingdom immediately stiffened, and they blushed with embarrassment. Just a moment ago, they were still mocking Emo Qingyun, wondering if he did not have refining materials to throw into the smelting furnace. However, in the blink of an eye, the same thing happened to them. It was really karmic retribution. However, the time of this retribution was a little too short. The people of the Puppet Kingdom didn't expect that in order to float this small boat, they would need so many refining materials. Judging from the current situation, the amount of solution needed to float the boat seemed to have exceeded their limit. At that moment, while the people from the Puppet Kingdom were feeling depressed, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and said to them, If you don't have enough materials, how about I lend you some? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, everyone from the Puppet Kingdom became even more depressed. However, without waiting for them to get angry, Emo Qingyun's expression suddenly changed. He said to them, I almost forgot. It is impossible to move between the various rivers in this Heixian palace. It seems that I can't help you. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, even if the people from the Puppet Kingdom were stupid, they knew that Emo Qingyun was playing with them. Kid, you don't have to be too proud. At this moment, the people from the Puppet Kingdom all had gloomy expressions. One of them said arrogantly, "Isn't it just some puppet refining materials? This won't be a problem for us." As soon as this person finished speaking, he took out several types of puppet refining materials, each of which was relatively rare. After taking out the puppet refining materials, the person's face immediately revealed a pained expression. He clenched his teeth and threw them into the furnace. Looking at his current appearance, he was very reluctant to part with them. He wasn't as relaxed as he made it sound. Black gold essence, ice soul cold stone, flame smoke copper. Seeing this person's actions, Emo Chinyun was startled at first. Then, he clicked his tongue and said, "TSK, TSK, TSK. These materials are all very precious. Any one of them is worth several million spirit essence stones. Now you're wasting them like this. You're really too wasteful. If your family's elders knew that you were wasting things like this, they would probably die from anger. Kid, I don't need you to worry about my matters." After hearing Emo Chingyun's words, the person's expression immediately twitched. It seemed that Emo Chingyun's words had hit the nail on the head. As the person beside him gnashed his teeth in anger, Yan Qiuyang revealed a disdainful expression. He added, "It's just some puppet refining materials. Once we obtain the things in this Heixian palace, everything will be worth it." "Oh, is that so?" Hearing Yan Qiuyang's words, Emo Chingyun's smile became even wider. He said, "I'm just worried that if you waste these materials now, you won't be able to obtain anything later. Then you'll suffer a great loss." "Kid, shut up for me." Hearing Emo Chingyun's words, the people from the Puppet Kingdom nearly went crazy. Emo Chingyun's actions at this moment were clearly poking at their sore spot. He was specifically tearing at their scars. Moreover, he was hitting the nail on the head. At this moment, before the anger in the hearts of the people from the Puppet Kingdom dissipated, a scene that made them vomit blood occurred. After they threw in the precious puppet refining materials into the furnace, not only did the boat not float, it instead sank. After seeing this scene, the people from the Puppet Kingdom were dumbfounded. For a moment, they didn't understand what was going on. How could this be? At this moment, the hearts of the people from the Puppet Kingdom were filled with doubts. How sad! Seeing the puzzled faces of the people from the Puppet Kingdom, Emo Chingyun looked at them sympathetically and said, "Don't you know about the density of objects? The density of the refined silver crystals you threw in earlier has already surpassed the density of the refined metals used to refine the boat. It would really be strange if your boat floated." As Emo Chingyun spoke, Yan Qiuyang and the others on the side could no longer hold back. He roared at the people from the Puppet Kingdom, "You idiots! If you've used up all the puppet refining materials, then throw in something else." Yan Qiuyang was extremely annoyed right now. He never thought that so many materials would be needed to float the boat. Currently, he had pretty much used up all the puppet refining materials in his pouch of cosmos. If this still didn't work, he could only throw in other materials. At this moment, just as the people from the Puppet Kingdom became gloomy, Emo Chingyun stopped what he was doing. There was already enough liquid in the river, so there was no need to continue refining things. Everyone, please continue. I won't be accompanying you." Soon after, Emo Chingyun smiled faintly and walked to the boat. He greeted Yan Qiuyang with a smile and rowed the boat to the other side. Seeing Emo Chingyun's actions, one of the people from the Puppet Kingdom became furious and said coldly, "I don't believe that I can't cross without the liquid. Idiot, come back." Yan Qiuyang's expression immediately changed when he saw this person's actions, and he roared at him. However, as Yan Qiuyang spoke, this person had already pushed the boat forward. At this moment, as this person pushed the boat forward, sizzling sounds constantly came from the bottom of his boat, and strands of fire appeared. Soon, a hole appeared at the bottom of his boat. The bottom of his boat had been pierced through. As soon as this person's boat was pierced through, a black gas blasted out from the bottom of the river and instantly blasted him to smithereens. Seeing this, the expressions of the people from the puppet kingdom immediately twitched. They no longer dared to take any chances and obediently continued to throw in items. A moment later, after the people from the puppet kingdom paid the price of vomiting blood, their boat finally floated up and they could barely row the boat forward. However, their speed was not much faster than a snail. Compared to Emo Qingyun, they were far inferior. Just like this, under the resentful expressions of Yan Qiuyang and the others, Emo Qingyun easily reached the other side of the river. "Everyone, I'll be going first." After reaching the other side of the river, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and called out to Yan Qiuyang and the others. Seeing Emo Qingyun reach the other side of the river, the people from the puppet kingdom had ugly expressions. They revealed expressions of envy, jealousy, and resentment. "Kid, don't be so proud. Even if you pass the first stage, you won't be able to pass the second stage. That's right, it's only the first stage. It's just success or failure. Don't be too proud. It won't be long before we catch up to you, or even surpass you, and enter the third stage before you." At that moment, the people from the puppet kingdom all began to grumble about what was going on. "Hee, is that so?" Emo Qingyun did not pay any attention to their words. He only smiled faintly before disappearing from their sight. He entered the interior of the Heixian Palace and began the second stage of the trial. "Kid, even if you pass the second stage, you definitely won't be able to pass the third stage." Yan Qiuyang's face sank when he saw Emo Qingyun vanish from his sight. He gritted his teeth and said, "The items in the Heixian Palace only belong to me. No one else can obtain them." The other people from the puppet kingdom were surprised when they heard Yan Qiuyang's words. They asked in confusion, "Eighth Prince, you can't stop that kid in the second stage?" "I can't stop him in the second stage." Yan Qiuyang's face became even uglier when he heard the questions from the people beside him. He replied coldly. Chapter 239. After entering the second stage, a black lake appeared in front of Emo Qingyun, emitting a black gas. "This is Heixian's qi." Seeing the black gas floating in the black lake, Emo Qingyun's expression immediately changed, and he was shocked. In the first stage, he saw how the people from the puppet kingdom were easily killed by this Heixian's qi. After a short moment of shock, Emo Qingyun moved his gaze away from the Heixian's qi. Then, Emo Qingyun saw that above the black lake, there was a simple arched bridge that connected the two sides of the lake. In the center of the arched bridge, there was a platform that was about 10 square meters wide. At the center of the platform stood a black-haired young man. "There's someone here." Seeing the black-haired young man in the center of the platform, Emo Qingyun's expression changed, revealing a trace of surprise as he sized up the black-haired young man. With one look, Emo Qingyun was immediately stunned, almost unable to believe his eyes. The black-haired young man in the center of the platform actually looked exactly like him. "Young lord, don't be surprised. This is a clone created by Heixian's incarnation." At this moment, while Emo Qingyun was still in shock, the 9 temples explained to him, "If this old servant's guess is correct, this stage should be to test the talent of the person who comes, and let them defeat someone with the same ability as you." Hearing the 9 temples' words, Emo Qingyun's expression was shocked, and he asked curiously, "Are all abilities the same?" "In theory, yes." The 9 temples nodded, and after a moment of thought, said, "However, some special methods may not be able to be replicated, such as heaven-defying magic treasures, powerful bloodlines, and some abilities, etc., should not be able to be replicated completely. If that's the case, this Heixian's incarnation is not difficult to deal with." Hearing the 9 temples' words, Emo Qingyun's expression relaxed slightly, and he stood up and walked towards the arched bridge. Not long after, Emo Qingyun arrived in front of the incarnation and confronted it. Like him, this incarnation was at the 5th level of the true energy realm, and his soul was at the middle stage of the spirit origin realm. "I'm the guardian of the second stage." If you want to enter the next stage, you must defeat me. While Emo Qinyun was sizing up the incarnation's face coldly and spoke to Emo. The incarnation continued, when you fight me, you can't rely on external forces. So, don't try to rely on the powerful soul inside your treasure. He actually knows of the existence of the 9 temples. Hearing this, Emo Qingyun's expression immediately changed. A hint of surprise appeared on his face. He was somewhat surprised by the ability of the incarnation. If that's the case, then do it. After a brief moment of surprise, Emo Qinyun didn't waste time talking nonsense with him. As soon as he finished speaking, he directly attacked him. Fire Dragon Seal. Emo Qinyun raised his hand and summoned the 81 Fire Dragon Seals, which transformed into a Fire Dragon shield and blasted towards the incarnation. Not only that, but when Emo Qinyun attacked, he also released his 3rd level of profound meaning. Fire Dragon Seal. When Emo Qinyun attacked, the incarnation also released the Fire Dragon Seal, forming a Fire Dragon shield, and clashed with Emo Qinyun. What surprised Emo Qinyun was that when the incarnation attacked, it also released its 3rd level of Fire Profound Meaning. He did not expect the incarnation to be able to imitate profound meaning. Bang! Then, the 2 Fire Dragon shields collided with each other, producing a loud sound. A violent flame energy surged out from the collision. Under the raging Fire Profound Meaning, Emo Qinyun's incarnation was forced to retreat, temporarily avoiding the attack. Judging from this scene, Emo Qinyun and the incarnation's incarnation were evenly matched. As expected, he has the same ability as me. Even his profound meaning is the same. After this exchange, Emo Qinyun had a rough understanding of the incarnation's ability. Then, Emo Qinyun frowned slightly as he pondered, I wonder if the incarnation can be imitated by the martial soul and martial soul superpower. Once this thought came to his mind, Emo Qinyun did not hesitate and immediately summoned his martial soul to verify his guess. Scarlet Flame Dragon, appear. Under Emo Qinyun's summon, a huge scarlet figure immediately appeared above him, exuding a dragon's might. Blood Chi Berserk. After summoning the Scarlet Flame Dragon martial soul, Emo Qinyun did not hesitate and immediately used his martial soul superpower. Once the martial soul superpower was used, Emo Qinyun's aura instantly soared. In a short while, Emo Qinyun's aura reached LV7 True Energy Realm. However, what shocked Emo Qinyun was that when he summoned his martial soul, the incarnation also summoned his martial soul. Just like him, the incarnation also summoned the Scarlet Flame Dragon martial soul. After the incarnation summoned his martial soul, he also used his martial soul superpower to increase the intensity of his blood chi. In a short while, the incarnation's aura also reached LV7 True Energy Realm. It can even imitate the martial soul and martial soul superpower. This incarnation is so powerful. Seeing this, Emo Qinyun was immediately shocked and his face turned grave. He did not expect the incarnation to be able to imitate the martial soul and martial soul superpower. This was simply too shocking. However, at the same time, Emo Qinyun's heart was also filled with joy. The stronger the incarnation's combat strength was, the greater the increase in his strength after he obtained the Heixian incarnation. I don't believe that you can imitate the twin martial souls. At this moment, Emo Qinyun showed an expression of disbelief and summoned the Light Gate martial soul. Light Gate martial soul, appear. Under Emo Qinyun's summon, a huge white light gate appeared above him, exuding an ancient aura. At this moment, after Emo Qinyun summoned the Light Gate martial soul, the incarnation was finally unable to imitate his ability. Seeing this, Emo Qinyun smiled proudly and said, Finally, there's something that you can't imitate. At this moment, when Emo Qinyun was speaking, his heart skipped a beat. He thought to himself, the Light Gate martial soul is indeed more mysterious than the Scarlet Flame Dragon martial soul. The incarnation really can't imitate it. After thinking for a short while, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately attacked the incarnation. Seal gate, seal for me. As soon as the martial soul superpower was used, a mini light gate immediately attacked the incarnation. Puff! Under the attack of the seal gate, the incarnation spat out a mouthful of black blood, and the aura on his body weakened rapidly. After a short while, the incarnation's cultivation fell back to LV5 True Energy Realm. After using the martial soul superpower on the incarnation, Emo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He thought to himself, I wonder if the incarnation can imitate the saber force. After thinking about this, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately tested it. Sun incinerating mountain splitting saber, then, without hesitation, Emo Qingyun raised his saber and slashed at the incarnation. As the red silk saber fell, a shocking aura exploded from Emo Qingyun's body as he released the saber force. In order to test his idea, Emo Qingyun did not release the level 3 fire ultimacy. Soon, Emo Qingyun's idea was verified. At this moment, when he released the saber force, the incarnation did not release the saber force or the ultimacy. After realizing this, Emo Qingyun's eyes lit up and he said with a look of realization, Does this mean that the incarnation becomes stronger when it meets a stronger opponent? Whatever I use, it will use the same method. If I only attack normally, it will only retaliate normally? After thinking about this, Emo Qingyun smiled evilly and said, If that's the case, it will be much easier to deal with you. Immediately after, Emo Qingyun slashed at the clone again. His attack carried the power of the blade force as it slashed down on the clone. Facing Emo Qingyun, who was 2 levels higher than the incarnation and had the saber force to support it. At this moment, under Emo Qingyun's attack, the clone could not even put up a fight before it was forcefully blasted away. Under Emo Qingyun's blade, the incarnation's body was directly destroyed and dissipated between heaven and earth. Congratulations on passing. After the incarnation was destroyed, a low voice was heard and entered Emo Qingyun's ears. Then, the voice continued, As the first person to pass, you will receive a Heixian incarnation. As soon as he said that, a black figure appeared before Emo Qingyun. This was Heixian incarnation. However, the Heixian incarnation's aura was very weak. It only had a body-tempering realm cultivation and did not have any consciousness. Seeing this, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate and put it into his Qianquan bag. After passing the 3 tests, he would refine the Heixian incarnation. Seeing that he had passed the test, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate and walked to the other side of the bridge. At this moment, as Emo Qingyun walked to the other side of the bridge, his expression suddenly changed and a sense of surprise rose in his heart. Just a moment ago, he suddenly sensed that he had lost connection with a soul-assimilating imprint. This meant that another person who had been imprinted with a soul-assimilating imprint had died. Another person has died. After realizing this, Emo Qingyun's expression changed and the uneasiness in his heart grew stronger. At this moment, Emo Qingyun frowned and looked worried. He thought to himself, I hope that Ling Luo and the others are fine. Otherwise, I won't be able to save them in Heixian Palace. Emo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer. He stood up and walked towards the 3rd stage. At this moment, just as Emo Qingyun walked to the 3rd test, Yan Shuyang arrived at the 2nd test. When Yan Shuyang arrived at the 2nd test, an incarnation appeared in the middle of the bridge. When he saw this, Yan Shuyang did not hesitate and immediately attacked the incarnation. However, Yan Shuyang seemed to be very familiar with the incarnation's abilities and did not use any of his trump cards when he attacked. Although this weakened the strength of his attacks, he could clearly suppress the incarnation. He seemed to be using his battle experience to suppress the incarnation. Indeed, with Yan Shuyang's rich battle experience, the incarnation was in danger and was killed by Yan Shuyang in a short while. Congratulations on passing. After the incarnation was killed, a low voice was heard. It congratulated Yan Shuyang and said, "As you're the one who passed the second test, you won't be able to receive the reward." The second one. When he heard this, Yan Shuyang's face sank. He gritted his teeth and said, "Damn brat, you've ruined my plans again. However, don't even think about snatching the item from me for the third test." Chapter 240. By the time Yan Shuyang entered the second trial, Emo Qinyun had already arrived at the third trial. The location of the third trial was a huge palace. In the middle of the palace was a huge golden chair. Sitting on it was a huge black figure with its eyes closed, as if it was in a deep sleep. "Little guy, congratulations on making it here." At this time, as Emo Qinyun was sizing up the palace, a cold voice came from the black figure. "However, if you want to receive my inheritance, you must pass my final trial." "You are He Xian's Star General?" Seeing the black figure sitting on the huge golden chair, Emo Qinyun's expression changed, revealing a look of surprise. "I didn't expect you to know me. However, I am now just a remnant of my will." Hearing Emo Qinyun's words, the black figure's tone was slightly startled, and it said indifferently, "Little guy, I sense a familiar aura from your body. Let him come out and meet me." After hearing the black figure's words, the 9 temples' disc array blossomed with a ball of light, and a white figure flew out. It was the 9 temples. After the 9 temples flew out from the 9 temples' disc array, it revealed a faint smile and said to the black figure, "Star General He Xian, long time no see. So it is the 9 temples' Star General. I didn't expect you to still be alive." Seeing the 9 temples appear, He Xian's Star General let out a cry of surprise, and there was a hint of envy in her voice. In response to He Xian's envious words, the 9 temples smiled bitterly and replied, "It's just a remnant soul, not much better than you. He Xian, this is my new master. Pass your inheritance to him." "You actually recognized him as your master?" Hearing the 9 temples' words, He Xian's tone changed, and he seemed to be somewhat shocked. He Xian's Star General obviously couldn't understand. With the 9 temples' strength in the past, they actually recognized a true energy realm brat as their master. To him, such a thing was too strange and illogical. However, after a brief moment of shock, He Xian's tone became cold again. "The 9 temples. He must have had your help to come here, right?" "Wrong, wrong, very wrong." Hearing He Xian's words, the 9 temples hurriedly waved their hands and explained, "The young lord was able to come here by his own ability. It has nothing to do with me." "Fine. Since he passed my first 2 tests, he has the qualifications to receive my inheritance." As soon as He Xian finished speaking, a purple fragment flew out from his body. He said, "Little guy, if you can trigger the reaction of this purple fragment, you will pass my test." "He Xian, I didn't think you would still be so stubborn." Seeing He Xian's actions, the 9 temples sighed. Just as the 9 temples sighed, the purple fragment flew in front of Emo Qinyun. Seeing this, Emo Qinyun raised his hand and grabbed it. He asked, "What do I need to do?" "Drip a drop of blood on it," He Xian slowly said. Hearing this, Emo Qinyun didn't hesitate. He directly cut his finger and dripped some blood on the purple fragment. Then, Emo Qinyun's blood dripped onto the purple fragment, which immediately released a dazzling purple light. Seeing this, He Xian fell silent and didn't say anything for a long time. Seeing He Xian fall silent, Emo Qinyun was confused and asked, "Did I pass?" Hearing Emo Qinyun's words, He Xian sighed and said, "No wonder the 9 temples' old man brought you here." "So you are," after sighing, He Xian didn't say anything else and fell silent again. Boom boom boom, after He Xian fell silent, his chair slowly moved, revealing a passage behind him. "You can go up." After the passage appeared, He Xian said to Emo Qinyun, indicating for Emo Qinyun to enter the passage. Seeing this, Emo Qinyun no longer hesitated. He stood up and walked into the passage. Seeing Emo Qingyun enter the passage, the 9 temples hurriedly followed. However, just as the 9 temples was about to enter the passage, he turned to He Xian and asked, "He Xian, do you want to follow the young lord with me? I'm just a remnant thought now. Even if I follow him, I won't be able to help him." Hearing the 9 temples' words, He Xian replied and said in a low voice, "Let's not talk about this for now. We'll talk about it when he comes out. Right now, an old friend is here and I want to see him. You should go up too." "Okay." Hearing He Xian's words, the 9 temples didn't say anything else and followed Emo Qingyun into the passage. After the 9 temples entered the passage, He Xian's chair slowly moved again and soon sealed the passage. When the passage was sealed, a figure entered the hall. This figure was Yan Xiaoyang. When Yan Xiaoyang arrived at the hall, he revealed a cold smile. He said to He Xian, "He Xian, give me your He Xian incarnation cultivation method and that thing." At this moment, Yan Xiaoyang seemed to be talking to an old friend. However, his tone was very domineering. "I'm very sorry. Before you came, someone had already passed my test." Hearing Yan Xiaoyang's words, He Xian replied indifferently, "Now that my He Xian incarnation and that thing have a new owner, I can't give them to you." Hearing He Xian's words, Yan Xiaoyang's face immediately darkened and he said with a ferocious expression, "He Xian, you'd rather give such an important thing to a stranger than give it to me? This is the owner's choice. I'm just following orders." In response to Yan Xiaoyang's questioning, He Xian's tone was still indifferent. He replied indifferently, "You can leave. On account of our friendship, I won't make things difficult for you." "He Xian, I hope you won't regret your actions today." Hearing He Xian's words, Yan Xiaoyang's face darkened. He did not linger any longer and got up to leave. Yan Xiaoyang knew that he had just been reincarnated and could not do anything to He Xian. If he continued to stay, he would only be humiliating himself. "I'm just a remnant consciousness now. What's there to regret?" He Xian replied calmly in response to Yan Xiaoyang's threat. He did not take it to heart at all. He continued, "You're still the same as before. However, I still have to remind you that you'd better not touch that little fellow." "He Xian, do you think you still have the right to say that to me?" Yan Xiaoyang said disdainfully when he heard He Xian's words. His face darkened as he said, "Given that little fellow's strength, he still can't refine and absorb that thing. He won't be able to escape from my clutches. Ha!" After Yan Xiaoyang finished speaking, he let out an arrogant laugh and walked out of the hall. "I didn't think that this fellow would be reincarnated. He even tried to take over the owner's things. Looks like people who don't know their place will never know their place." He Xian sighed inwardly as he watched Yan Xiaoyang leave the hall. His tone was somewhat worried as he said, "I wonder if those fellows have been reincarnated as well. If they have, it will be troublesome. I hope that little fellow can grow up smoothly." Sigh. At this moment, just as He Xian was sighing inwardly, Emo Qingyun and the 9 temples walked to the end of the passageway and arrived at a secret room. As soon as Emo Qingyun entered the secret room, he saw array formation runes that were constantly flashing with dazzling light. At the center of these array formation runes was a model of a palace the size of a lunchbox that was constantly flashing with light. When the 9 temples saw this, they said in a deep voice, "Young lord, this is the core array formation of He Xian Palace. This small palace is the central hub of He Xian Palace. Once you refine it, you will be able to take away the entire He Xian Palace." "Oh, is that so?" When he heard the 9 temples' words, Emo Qingyun's expression immediately changed. He was astonished. As long as he refined this central hub, he would be able to take away the entire He Xian Palace. This was something that he had never heard of, even with his experience as a supreme being. After a short moment of astonishment, Emo Qingyun's gaze shifted. He looked towards the side of the array formations hub. Then, 3 items entered Emo Qingyun's vision. They were a cultivation technique, a Dan Palace Realm avatar, and a drop of purple blood. Thump thump thump. When Emo Qingyun approached the drop of purple blood, he immediately felt his eyes begin to twitch rapidly. At this moment, Emo Qingyun suddenly felt that there was a faint connection between him and the drop of purple blood. At the same time, the purple shard that Emo Qingyun had obtained earlier suddenly flew out from his chest and towards the drop of purple blood. Not long after, the purple shard slowly merged with the drop of purple blood. As the purple shard merged with the drop of purple blood, Emo Qingyun immediately felt that the connection between him and the drop of purple blood had strengthened. Just as Emo Qingyun felt this, the drop of purple blood suddenly flew up and entered his left eye. Thump thump thump. As soon as the drop of purple blood entered Emo Qingyun's left eye, Emo Qingyun's eye began to twitch rapidly. The connection between him and the drop of purple blood became even more intimate. This drop of purple blood, after this discovery, Emo Qingyun was immediately shocked. A trace of worry rose in his heart. He was worried that there was a powerful existence hidden within the drop of purple blood that wanted to use it to take over his body. However, to Emo Qingyun's surprise, after the drop of purple blood entered his left eye, it calmed down. Not only that, even his left eye calmed down. Seeing this, Emo Qingyun was still worried. He checked his body again. After confirming that there was nothing wrong, he was slightly relieved. Young Lord, refine this array formations hub first. This way, you can control the entire Heixian Palace. At this moment, the 9 temples reminded Emo Qingyun. As long as you refine the array formations hub, you can directly control the Heixian Palace and kick the people from the puppet kingdom out. All right. Chapter 241. Seeing that Emo Qingyun had begun to refine the small palace, the 9 temples did not remain idle. They began to set up an 8-fold time shift formation around Emo Qingyun. They knew that Emo Qingyun would need a lot of time to refine the small palace, which was the hub of the formation. Without the help of the time shift formation, the efficiency would be very low. I hope we can find the star pattern formation stone as soon as possible. After setting up the time shift formation, the 9 temples looked grave and said with a worried tone, "Otherwise, without the replenishment of the formation power, the 9 temples formation disk will soon lose its effect." After setting up the time shift formation, the 9 temples began to cultivate to recover their soul power. Some time ago, on the way to Heixian Valley, Emo Qingyun had refined some soul recovery elixirs for him. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Under Emo Qingyun's continuous refinement, he had finally refined 30% of the small palace. He could now see everything in Heixian Palace. But if he wanted to do what the 9 temples had said, and drive out the people in Heixian Palace, he would need to refine a few more percent. Immediately, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate and continued to refine the small palace. He has already refined 30% of Heixian Palace's hub. It's 10 times faster than I expected. When Emo Qingyun had refined 30% of the small palace, Heixian said in surprise. Then he guessed, the 9 temples must have helped him set up the time shift formation. This is good. With the help of the time shift formation, his growth will be faster. Just like that, time passed quietly as Emo Qingyun refined the small palace. As time passed, the difficulty of refining the small palace for Emo Qingyun became greater and greater. His progress also slowed down. 2 months later. At this moment, Emo Qingyun's tense expression finally relaxed, and a bright smile appeared on his face. After 2.5 months, he finally refined the small palace completely. Sensing Emo Qingyun's movements, the 9 temples' expression changed. He opened his eyes and asked with joy, "Young lord, you've completely refined the core of the palace?" "Yes." Emo Qingyun nodded in response. He revealed a cold smile and said, "Now, it's time to take care of those guys from the puppet kingdom." As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he prepared to use the formation in the Heixian Hall to deal with Yan Shuyang and the others. However, to Emo Qingyun's surprise, Yan Xiaoyang and the others were nowhere to be seen in Heixian Hall. It seemed that they had already left Heixian Hall. "You're lucky to have escaped quickly." Seeing that Yan Xiaoyang and the others had already left Heixian Hall, Emo Qingyun felt slightly disappointed and said angrily. He had originally thought that if Yan Xiaoyang and the others were still in Heixian Hall, he would control the Heixian Hall's qi in Heixian Hall and directly destroy them. In particular, Emo Qingyun would not feel at ease if he did not destroy Yan Xiaoyang. "Young lord, don't worry about it." Seeing Emo Qingyun's expression, the 9 temples smiled faintly and analyzed. Yan Xiaoyang is extremely familiar with Heixian Hall. He knows that Heixian passed the legacy to you, so he guessed that you might use the formation in Heixian Hall to deal with him after refining it. It's normal that he doesn't dare to stay. After hearing this, Emo Qingyun nodded and did not think too much about it. He said in a deep voice, "Heixian Hall's formation hub has been refined. Next, it's time to cultivate Heixian's incarnation." With that, Emo Qingyun began to cultivate Heixian's incarnation. He picked up the cultivation method and checked it. After checking it, Emo Qingyun began to cultivate Heixian's incarnation. The first step of cultivating Heixian's incarnation required some special materials to refine an incarnation body. As Emo Qingyun had received an incarnation as a reward in the second stage, he could directly skip this step and save a lot of trouble. The second step of cultivating Heixian's incarnation was to split a part of one's soul and implant it into the incarnation. After seeing this, Emo Qingyun began to split his soul according to the instructions of Heixian's incarnation. After splitting his soul, Emo Qingyun immediately felt a heart-wrenching pain. He could not help but let out a cry of pain. Fortunately, this did not last for long. After a while, Emo Qingyun split a part of his soul and implanted it into the consciousness of the Divine Transformation Stage clone. As a strand of his soul entered the consciousness of the incarnation, the eyes of the incarnation immediately lit up and became more lively. At this moment there was a close connection between him and the incarnation. It was as if he was the incarnation and the incarnation was him. Phew! It's finally done. After seeing this, Emo Qingyun took a deep breath and a satisfied smile appeared on his face. After saying this, Emo Qingyun did not continue with the rest of the cultivation. Instead, he said in a low voice, "Splitting my soul just now has injured my soul. Before cultivating the incarnation, I should recover my soul first." After that, Emo Qingyun began to cultivate and recover the injury to his soul. He did not want his soul to suffer irreparable damage because of cultivating Heixian's incarnation, which would affect his future cultivation. About 10 days later, Emo Qingyun, who had been cultivating with his eyes closed, revealed a look of joy on his face and slowly opened his eyes. At this moment, the injury to his soul caused by splitting his soul was finally healed. However, at this moment, when Emo Qingyun stopped cultivating, he suddenly frowned and said to himself, "Another soul assimilating mark has broken the connection with me." This meant that another person who was implanted with a soul assimilating mark had died. After realizing this, Emo Qingyun's expression turned grave and he said in a low voice, "In these few days, there has been a soul assimilating mark breaking the connection with me every day. I think Rouge and the rest must have been captured. Every day, one of them would be tortured and killed." After thinking about this, the uneasiness in Emo Qingyun's heart grew stronger. "Looks like I can't stay here and continue cultivating. I have to return to Four Symbols City immediately." At this moment, Emo Qingyun planned in his heart. Just as Emo Qingyun was pondering, his gaze landed on the incarnation of the Pill Palace realm, and he said in a low voice, "With my strength, I am still unable to control this incarnation. However, I can refine it and use it as a puppet." When this thought appeared, Emo Qingyun's eyes lit up. Without any hesitation, he immediately took action. Soon after, Mo Qingyun injected a soul imprint into the body of the incarnation of the Pill Palace realm and began refining it into a puppet. 5 days later, the incarnation of the Pill Palace realm was successfully refined into a puppet by Mo Qingyun. After refining the incarnation of the Pill Palace realm into a puppet, Mo Qingyun tried to control the incarnation of the Pill Palace realm. However, at the beginning, Mo Qingyun's control wasn't very smooth. He couldn't even make the incarnation stand up. However, Mo Qingyun didn't give up just like that. Instead, he slowly familiarized himself with it and gradually increased the difficulty of controlling it. 1 day later, under Mo Qingyun's continuous efforts, he was finally able to control the incarnation and was able to barely walk. 5 days later, Mo Qingyun could control the incarnation to run at an extremely fast speed. Moreover, in the process of running, the incarnation swung its fist. Half a month later, under Mo Qingyun's control, the incarnation's movements were no different from that of an ordinary person. When it executed martial techniques, there wasn't the slightest bit of stiffness. Regarding the current situation, Mo Qingyun revealed a satisfied smile. He smiled faintly and said, "Hee, although I can't do as I wish like the incarnation, it's still considered not bad. Young lord, such strong talent. This little fellow's talent is so strong." After seeing Mo Qingyun achieve this step, the 9 temples and He Xian both let out exclamations of surprise. They were shocked and surprised that Mo Qingyun was able to control the incarnation so proficiently in such a short period of time. This trip to He Xian Valley took a total of half a month. It's time to return. Seeing that the incarnation of the Pill Palace realm had been successfully controlled, Mo Qingyun didn't plan to stay any longer and prepared to return to Four Symbols City immediately. Recently, he had been sensing a soul-sucking imprint every day, which made him feel uneasy. He wanted to return to Four Symbols City immediately to see what exactly was going on in Four Symbols City. Shortly after, Mo Qingyun and the 9 temples went down the passage and returned to He Xian's main hall. After arriving at the main hall, the 9 temples revealed a look of anticipation. He said to He Xian, "He Xian, I'm going to leave now. The young lord intends to take His Highness He Xian away. You can come with us." Now that His Highness He Xian has been taken away by this little fellow, I can only follow you. Hearing the 9 temples' words, He Xian said helplessly. He then said, "Moreover, I also want to see how outstanding this little fellow can be for you to recognize him as your master and what heights he can reach. I definitely won't disappoint you." Seeing that He Xian was willing to come with them, the 9 temples revealed a faint smile and replied to He Xian, "Little fellow, my remnant consciousness is very weak now and I can't stay awake for long. Next, I will enter a deep sleep to recover my remnant consciousness," He Xian said to Mo Qingyun. He then changed the topic and said, "But if you encounter a life or death situation, you can send me a message and I can help you once. Many thanks." Hearing He Xian's words, Mo Qingyun revealed a look of gratitude and thanked He Xian. After hearing Mo Qingyun's words of gratitude, He Xian replied and fell into a deep sleep, no longer speaking. Then, no more aura was emitted from his huge body. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. With the help of the small palace, he left He Xian's palace. Soon, Mo Qingyun arrived outside He Xian's palace. Outside He Xian's palace, Missouri Qingyun controlled the small palace and prepared to take He Xian's palace away. Under Mo Qingyun's control, He Xian's palace immediately began to shrink. In the end, it became only the size of a fingernail and burrowed into Mo Qingyun's body. 8th Prince, look, He Xian's palace is gone. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun took away He Xian's palace, Yan heir of the Puppet Kingdom was shocked as he spoke to Yan Shuyang beside him. That damned He Xian really did give He Xian's palace to that kid. Yan Shuyang's face became vicious when he saw this. He gritted his teeth and said, He Xian, since you insist on going against me, I'll definitely kill you once I refine that thing. After saying this coldly, Yan Shuoyang charged in the direction of the mysterious black hall with a gloomy expression. He said coldly, "Brat, it is not so easy to take what belongs to me, Yan Shuoyang. This time, I will make sure you die without a complete corpse." Before long, Yan Shuoyang and the others appeared before Mo Qingyun. They all glared at Mo Qingyun viciously as if they wanted to skin Mo Qingyun alive. Yan Shuoyang. Chapter 242. Brat, I don't know what you did last time, but you managed to keep your life. Yan Shuoyang's face was gloomy as he looked at Mo Qingyun. His tone was cold as he said, "However, I won't give you another chance this time. If you know what's good for you, hand over the item you obtained from He Xian obediently. Perhaps I can spare your life." "Are you saying so much nonsense to show that you're useless?" Hearing Yan Shuoyang's words, Mo Qingyun smiled disdainfully and replied, "If you have the ability, then come at me directly. There's no need to talk so much nonsense. Brat, you're courting death." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yan Shuoyang immediately gnashed his teeth in anger. He uttered a gloomy sentence and attacked Mo Qingyun. At the same time, when Yan Shuoyang attacked Mo Qingyun, the people from the Puppet Kingdom also attacked Mo Qingyun. Seeing the actions of the people from the Puppet Kingdom, Mo Qingyun mocked, "Trash only knows how to rely on numbers." Soul Sky Seal. After Mo Qingyun spoke, he took out 81 soul battle seals and attacked the puppets of the people from the Puppet Kingdom. Seeing the soul battle imprint attack, the expressions of the Puppet Kingdom's people immediately changed, revealing a trace of panic. They clearly remembered that in the last battle, Mo Qingyun had used this move to make all of them fall for it. As a result, the soul imprints in their puppets were destroyed. Furthermore, their minds were injured because of this. Soul Whirlpool. Seeing Mo Qingyun take out the soul battle seals, Yan Shuoyang also used a soul secret skill to block Mo Qingyun's attack. Under Yan Shuoyang's attack, a shocking soul power shot out from his head and turned into a shocking whirlpool. As soon as the soul whirlpool appeared, it devoured the 81 soul battle seals and sucked them in. After neutralizing Mo Qingyun's attack, Yan Shuoyang revealed a complacent and cold smile. He said coldly, "Brat, this move of yours is useless now. Why don't you just obediently surrender?" "Really?" After hearing Yan Shuoyang's words, Mo Qingyun revealed a mocking expression. He smiled faintly and said, "Since you are relying on the might of the puppets, then I won't hold back." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, a huge black figure appeared in front of him, exuding a shocking aura. Pill Palace Realm. This black figure was a Pill Palace Realm expert. After sensing the aura of the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation, the expressions of the Puppet Kingdom's people twitched as fear rose in their hearts. Run. After a brief moment of panic, the Puppet Kingdom's people didn't dare to hesitate and immediately turned around to flee. It couldn't be helped. This was a Pill Palace Realm expert. He could kill them with a single breath. Trying to escape? Do you think you can escape? Seeing the actions of the Puppet Kingdom's people, Mo Qingyun let out a cold laugh. He controlled the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation to send a palm strike towards them. Then, a huge black palm that covered the sky appeared above them, completely blocking out the light. Following the descent of this gigantic palm, their world slowly turned dark. Finally, it was pitch black. Bang! Under the huge palm, the Puppet Kingdom's people were annihilated. Only Yan Shuoyang was left. Looking at this scene, Yan Shuoyang's face darkened. He revealed a strong anger and said coldly, "Brat, I will remember this. Just wait for my revenge." After saying this, Yan Shuoyang didn't dare to stay any longer. He immediately turned around and fled. He knew that now that Mo Qingyun had a Pill Palace Realm's incarnation by his side, he would only be humiliating himself if he continued to stay. After dealing with the Puppet Kingdom's people, Emo Qingyun looked coldly at Yan Shuyang and said coldly, "Now, it's your turn." As soon as he finished speaking, Emo Qingyun controlled the Dan Palace Realm incarnation and attacked Yan Shuyang. He attacked him aggressively. Seeing the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation closing in on him, Yan Shuyang's face darkened. He gritted his teeth and said, "Brat, you forced me to do this." Hand of Sun Luo. As soon as Yan Shuyang finished speaking, he quickly formed a series of strange runes with his hand. Once the rune was formed, it emitted a bright light and enveloped Emo Qingyun and the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation. Puchi. At the same time, after Yan Shuyang formed the rune, he immediately spat out blood. His aura was extremely weak. However, he didn't dare to hesitate. He immediately turned around and continued to flee. "Young lord, run!" At this moment, after seeing Yan Shuyang's attack, the 9 temples' tone changed. They reminded Emo Qingyun in a panic. Teleportation gate. Just as the 9 temples reminded him, Emo Qingyun had already displayed his martial soul's ability and rushed into the teleportation gate. His actions were extremely decisive. There wasn't any hesitation or sloppiness. Swoosh. After a while, Emo Qingyun left the area covered by the strange rune and came to a place not far away. When Emo Qingyun left the area covered by the strange rune, under the ground covered by the rune, black palms immediately appeared. They grabbed the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation and tore it apart. Puchi. Under the tearing of these black palms, the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation was torn into pieces and dragged into the ground. As the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation was torn into pieces, the strange rune gradually faded and finally disappeared. After the strange rune disappeared, the black palms underground also disappeared in the blink of an eye. Seeing this scene, Emo Qingyun felt a sense of lingering fear and revealed a trace of lingering fear. He really didn't expect Yan Shuyang to have such a method other than the Pill Palace's Heaven Star. If he was dragged in just now, he would have suffered the same fate as the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation. This person was simply too dangerous. "Yan Shuyang, the next time I see you, I will definitely kill you." Looking in the direction where Yan Shuyang escaped, Emo Qingyun's face was cold as he said those words. After saying those words, Emo Qingyun revealed a trace of heartache. Looking at the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation that was torn into pieces, he said, "What a pity. A Pill Palace Realm's incarnation was destroyed just like that." After sighing, Emo Qingyun didn't think too much about it. He walked towards Yen Er and the others from the Puppet Kingdom and took away their Qianquan bags and puppet. In this exchange, he lost a Pill Palace Realm's incarnation. He had to collect some interest. After doing all of this, Emo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer, and he stood up and returned to Four Symbols City. 5 days later, under Emo Qingyun's crazy rush, he arrived at a city called Star Lane City and prepared to enter to rest. At this moment, when Emo Qingyun arrived at Star Lane City, he discovered that many people were rushing towards the city. Looking at their hurried expressions, it was as if they were waiting for some treasure to be unearthed. Seeing this scene, Emo Qingyun's expression changed and a trace of doubt rose in his heart. He thought to himself, could it be that some treasure has appeared in Star Lane City? After discovering this, Emo Qingyun walked towards a person with a curious expression and asked, "Friend, why are there so many people coming to Star Lane City?" Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, that person revealed a look as if he was looking at a country bumpkin. He looked at Emo Qingyun and said, "You don't even know this? Your information is too outdated." Hearing this person's words, Emo Qingyun was slightly embarrassed and continued to ask, "Friend, please enlighten me." Seeing that Emo Qingyun continued to ask, the person didn't keep him in suspense and said with an excited expression, "Let me tell you. In a day's time, there will be a huge auction in Star Lane City. It is said that there will be hundreds of treasures in this auction." Auction? Hearing this person's words, Emo Qingyun revealed a look of surprise. He was a little surprised by this answer. Of course, these people are here to join in the fun and to see the treasures. They don't have the ability to compete for those treasures. While Emo Chinyun was still in shock, the person continued to say, "Also, I heard that the final item of this auction is a strange stone with runes. It is said that this stone contains a terrifying power. If it is used to refine weapons, it might be able to create a divine weapon." Stone with runes? Hearing this young man's words, Emo Chingyun's eyes immediately lit up as he thought of something. Immediately, Emo Chingyun asked the 9 temples, "9 temples, do you think this stone could be the star array stone?" "I'm not sure yet." Hearing Emo Chingyun's words, the 9 temples' tone was a little excited. He said, "However, there is a 70% chance that this stone is the star array stone. Therefore, young lord, you must attend this auction." "Yes." After hearing the 9 temples' words, Emo Chinyun nodded and made a decision. At this time, while Emo Chinyun and the 9 temples were talking, the young man smiled and said to Emo Chinyun, "Boy, you are very lucky to have stumbled upon such a big event." "Ha ha." Hearing the young man's words, Emo Chinyun smiled faintly and threw a cosmos sack to the young man. He smiled and said, "Thank you for clearing my doubts. Here is a small token of my gratitude." After throwing the cosmos sack to the young man, Emo Chinyun turned and left, walking towards Star Lane City. "Hey, boy, what kind of person do you think I am? I didn't clear your doubts because of your gratitude." Seeing Emo Chinyun throw the cosmos sack to him, the young man's expression changed and he shouted at Emo Chinyun with a serious face. However, when Mal Yang saw that Emo Chinyun did not respond, he opened his cosmos sack out of curiosity and muttered, "What kind of good things can a silly brat give me?" But when Mal Yang saw the contents of the cosmos sack, his expression became sluggish and he could not believe his eyes. The cosmos sack was filled with hundreds of thousands of elemental holy stones. This was comparable to his entire fortune. I casually said a few words and he gave me hundreds of thousands of elemental holy stones. How could there be such a good thing? At this moment, Mal Yang's heartbeat immediately sped up. He looked at Emo Chingyun's back and said, "Big brother, I was just casually saying it. I accept your gratitude." After replying to Emo Chinyun, Mal Yang's expression suddenly changed. He said, "That's right, that boy didn't take the wrong cosmos sack, right? Did he give his own fortune to me? He left the cosmos sack that he wanted to thank me with." As soon as this thought appeared, Mal Yang's expression changed. He thought to himself, "That must be it. I'll take advantage of the fact that this boy still knows and run away. I've earned hundreds of thousands of elemental holy stones for free. How satisfying." Then, Mal Yang immediately fled the scene, afraid that Emo Chinyun would come back and look for him. But if he knew that Emo Chinyun already had more than 1,000,000,000 elemental holy stones on him, who knew what he would think? Chapter 243. After entering Star Lane City, Emo Chinyun found a hotel and checked into a superior room. Emo Chinyun began to cultivate in the room as he waited for the auction to begin the next day. However, while he was cultivating, he released a wisp of soul power to sense the conversations of the people in the hotel. "Have you heard? It's said that many people from the 10 great kingdoms will be coming to the auction this time." "I heard that long ago. They are passing by on their way to Four Symbol City and are just here to join in the fun." Four Symbol City? The city where the purple-eyed devil monarch appeared? Could it be that the 10 great kingdoms want to deal with the Purple Eye? Your information is too outdated. The 10 great kingdoms have already issued 100 kingdoms arrest order to hunt down the Purple Eye and the others on the battlefield. According to what I know, the people from the 10 great kingdoms are heading to Four Symbol City this time to deal with the Purple Eye's 4 friends. Your information is all wrong. The Purple Eye's subordinates have already been captured. In order to force the Purple Eye to appear, The people from the 10 great kingdoms kill one of his subordinates every day. I see. The 10 great kingdoms are so ruthless. If the purple eye doesn't appear, it would be heartless and unjust. At this moment, everyone's conversation was transmitted into Mo Qingyun's ears word for word. I see. Hearing everyone's conversation, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately changed, revealing a look of understanding. At this moment, he finally understood why he had lost contact with a soul-snatching seal every day recently. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun frowned tightly as he pondered in his heart. Since the people from the 10 great kingdoms want to deal with Brother Lu and the others, they should be safe for the time being since they are still in Star Lane City. After thinking in this way, Mo Qingyun's expression relaxed slightly. However, a trace of doubt soon appeared on his face again. I set up a formation to guard Ling Luo and the others' cultivation room. Logically speaking, they should be very safe. Mo Qingyun was puzzled and guessed in his heart, could it be that there is someone in the 10 great kingdoms who is skilled in formations? That should be it. A day passed in the blink of an eye. Seeing that it was time for the auction, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and walked out of the room to the auction house. The auction house wasn't far from Mo Qingyun's hotel, so it didn't take him long to arrive at the auction house. Seeing Mo Qingyun enter the auction house, a receptionist walked up to him and asked, "Sir, is this an auction item or an auction item?" "Auction items." Mo Qingyun's expression was calm as he replied. "Would you like a normal seat or a VIP room, sir?" the receptionist asked again. After hearing this, Mo Qingyun was puzzled and asked, "What's the difference?" "For an ordinary seat, you need to pay 10,000 spirit essence stones. For a VIP room, you need to pay 1,000,000 spirit essence stones," the young receptionist explained. After hearing the receptionist's explanation, Mo Qingyun didn't even think about it and directly tossed her a Qianquan bag, saying, "Arrange a VIP room for me." Then, Mo Qingyun was led by the receptionist to the VIP room number 8. The VIP room number 8 was in a good position. It was located on the 3rd floor of the auction house. From here, one could clearly see the entire auction house. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun revealed a faint smile, saying, "It's good to be rich. This 1,000,000 spirit essence stones is well spent." "Young lord, 1,000,000 spirit essence stones is a considerable amount of wealth for an ordinary true energy boundary martial artist. They wouldn't be willing to spend this much money." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the 9 temples smiled and replied to Mo Qingyun. After hearing the 9 temples' words, Mo Qingyun nodded and smiled, agreeing with the 9 temples' point of view. When he was in Northern Desert Town, as one of the 3 great families of Northern Desert Town, the Mo family didn't even have 10,000 spirit essence stones. From this, it could be seen that 1,000,000 spirit essence stones was not a small number. At this time, as Mo Qingyun and the 9 temples were talking, the auction had already begun. Before long, the auctioneer brought out one item after another for everyone to bid on. This auction item is a treasure armor. It is said that not even a treasure weapon can pierce through it. The starting price is 1,000,000 spirit essence stones. At this time, the auctioneer brought out a soft armor and announced to everyone. After the auctioneer spoke, someone immediately bid. "I bid 1,010,000. You have the nerve to add 10,000? I bid 1,100,000. I bid 1,300,000. For a time, the voices of people shouting out bids rose and fell. In the end, the treasure armor was sold for 3,200,000 spirit essence stones. The sale of the treasure armor immediately pushed the atmosphere of the auction house to an even higher level. Following this, the auctioneer brought out several more items for everyone to bid on. These items were all sold for several million spirit essence stones. After these items were sold, the atmosphere of the auction house reached a peak. After the first item was sold, the auctioneer brought out 3 more items. These 3 items were each several meters long and as thick as a finger. They were pitch black and looked like 3 long whips. The items being auctioned this time are 3 items that are similar to the tendons of a flood dragon. The auctioneer brought the 3 black whips onto the auction stage and introduced them. As for their origins, our auction house is not clear. But one thing is certain, and that is that these 3 items are absolutely extraordinary. We once used a treasure weapon to cut them down, but the result was that they were completely unharmed. At this moment, the auctioneer tirelessly introduced the items as if these 3 black whips were priceless treasures. Don't talk nonsense, just state the price. Hearing the auctioneer's incessant explanation, the crowd began to grow impatient and urged the auctioneer to continue. Haha, since that's the case, I won't say any more. Seeing everyone grow impatient, the auctioneer tactfully stopped speaking. He chuckled and said, "Because these 3 items are being auctioned together, the base price might be a bit high. The base price is 10 million spirit essence stones, and each bid must be no less than 100,000 spirit essence stones." Damn, you don't even know what these things are and you're already starting at 10 million spirit essence stones. Why don't you just go rob someone? That's right, you guys are too greedy. I don't want to waste money like this. If it was 1 million spirit essence stones, I might have played around a bit. But 10 million is too expensive. After the auctioneer's words fell, there was a wave of discontent. However, the auctioneer didn't seem to care at all, as if this sort of situation was common to him. Pung pung pung. At this time, as the auctioneer introduced the 3 black whips, Emo Qingyun's eyes began to rapidly jump. This is, sensing the movement in his eyes, Emo Qingyun immediately revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. He said with ecstasy, "These are those mysterious eyelashes. I never thought I'd run into them again." Emo Qingyun was clearer than anyone on the function of these mysterious eyelashes. These were treasures that could strengthen the bloodline in his eyes. I have to get these 3 eyelashes. At this moment, Emo Qingyun gripped his fists. He secretly made a decision in his heart and immediately said, 11 million spirit essence stones. As soon as the auctioneer heard Emo Qingyun's words, his eyes brightened with pleasant surprise. He said, "The Mr. in VIP room 8 has bid 11 million spirit essence stones. Are there any higher bids?" To increase the price by 1 million spirit essence stones, this was a great customer. It seemed that these 3 black whips could be auctioned off for a good price. "I bid 2 million. As the auctioneer's voice fell, someone immediately shouted out a bid. "I bid 12 million. I bid 5 million. For a moment, all sorts of bids were shouted out. Haha, it's only 10 million spirit essence stones. Buying 3 collectibles isn't bad. At this time, as everyone was shouting out bids, a person from VIP room 3 lightly smiled and said, "I bid 15 million spirit essence stones." After this person bid, he said to everyone in the auction house, "Everyone, I am Fan Xian of the Blade Kingdom. I plan on buying a few collectibles. I hope everyone can give me some face." As this person's words fell, the auction house immediately went into an uproar. Everyone whispered to each other, "Fan Xian, he's actually Fan Xian of the Blade Kingdom. I didn't think he would come to the 100 Kingdom battlefield. I heard that Fan Xian is one of the 3 geniuses of the Blade Kingdom. He's someone who can directly participate in the grand examination. The Blade Kingdom is ranked 3rd in the 10 kingdoms. Fan Xian's talent is ranked 3rd in the Blade Kingdom. Such a person's future is limitless. We can't afford to offend this Fan Xian. Let's not compete with him in case we provoke a terrifying enemy. Forget it. It's not worth offending someone like Fan Xian for some unknown item." After learning of Fan Xian's identity, everyone in the auction house immediately gave up on competing and prepared to give this item to Fan Xian. Seeing this, the auctioneer's expression became a bit unnatural, revealing a trace of anxiety. He had originally hoped that this item would stir up the atmosphere, but he didn't think that Fan Xian's appearance would cause the auction to become awkward. However, although he was anxious, he didn't dare to show any dissatisfaction. There was nothing he could do. Fan Xian's identity wasn't someone he could offend. No matter how unhappy he was, he could only endure it. After a brief moment of anxiety, the auctioneer said, "The Mr. from VIP room 3 bids 15 million spirit essence stones. Is there a higher bid? If there isn't a higher bid, then these 3 treasures will belong to him." As the auctioneer's words fell, he revealed a look of anticipation, hoping that someone would save the day. "I bid 20 million spirit essence stones." At this moment, as the auctioneer was anxiously waiting, an indifferent voice came from VIP room 8. As soon as he heard the person from VIP room 8 raise the price, the auctioneer immediately revealed an expression of understanding. His meaning couldn't be more obvious. The person from VIP room 8 was definitely his own big brother, otherwise he would take care of him like this. As soon as Mo Qingyun opened his mouth, the surrounding people's expressions immediately changed. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's actions. They didn't think that after Fan Xian announced his identity, there would still be someone who dared to bid. This was a challenge to Fan Xian. Who is that person from VIP room 8? He clearly knows Fan Xian's identity, and yet he still dares to raise the price. Is he trying to challenge Fan Xian? He should be someone from the 10 great kingdoms. Otherwise, in the 100 countries battlefield, who would dare to make things difficult for Fan Xian? No matter what, if he can spend 1 million spirit essence stones to win a VIP room, then he isn't someone we can compare with. That's true, but I still think that it's unwise for him to offend Fan Xian because of this. For a time, everyone held their own opinions and began to debate with each other. What guts! You actually dare to compete with me, Fan Xian? As soon as he saw Mo Qingyun raise the price, Fan Xian's expression immediately darkened. He looked towards Mo Qingyun's room and coldly said, "Sir, are you trying to make things difficult for me? Have you ever considered the consequences of your actions? Are you threatening me?" Mo Qingyun disdainfully responded to Fan Xian's words. Then, he disdainfully said, "If you don't have the money, then scram to the side. Don't make a fool of yourself here." As soon as Mo Qingyun's words came out, the auction house exploded. Everyone revealed looks of shock. Chapter 244. F***CK, he's too domineering. Even someone from the 10 great kingdoms wouldn't dare to speak to Fan Xian like that. Who is this guy? He actually dares to taunt Fan Xian like that. Isn't he afraid of death? Looks like there's a good show to watch. I hope this guy can still be so awesome when he meets Fan Xian later. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, an uproar broke out in the auction hall, and everyone came out with excited expressions. Provoking a genius from the 10 great kingdoms was not something that could be easily seen. "Brother Fan Xian, looks like you don't have enough face." At this moment, a person from VIP room 2 spoke in a feminine tone. "Brother Fan Xian, if you don't have enough money, I can lend you some." The person in VIP room 9 said to Fan Xian with a faint smile. Following that, the people from the other VIP rooms also started teasing Fan Xian. As geniuses from the 10 great kingdoms, they were very happy to see the other party being provoked and ignored. Hearing their words, Fan Xian's expression immediately darkened to the extreme. He was very clear that if he didn't fiercely teach this guy from VIP room 8 a lesson, he would be utterly humiliated this time. Soon after, Fan Xian's expression darkened as he looked at VIP room 8 and said coldly, "Kid, if you don't want to die, immediately come before me, cripple your own cultivation, kowtow, admit your mistake, and bark 3 times like a dog." Mo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain when he heard Fan Xian's words. He replied, "If you don't have money, immediately scram. Don't obstruct me from bidding. Kid, you're courting death." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Fan Xian's face immediately twitched with anger. He said fiercely, Kid, if you have the guts, don't leave after the auction ends. I'll slowly take care of you. I'll wait for you. If you don't come, then I'm a coward. Emochinyon didn't care about Fan Xian's threat at all and replied, not to be outdone. If you don't come, then I'm a coward. Hearing Emochinyon's words, the expressions of everyone in the auction hall changed again. They were somewhat shocked by Emochinyon's words. Emochinyon had been provoking Fan Xian earlier. Now, he was initiating a battle. Challenging Fan Xian, this was too awesome. At the thought of this, everyone's hearts immediately became excited. This time, there was really a good show to watch. As soon as Fan Xian heard Emochinyon's words, he no longer spoke. He coldly snorted and said, 21 million spirit essence stones. Fan Xian was very clear that he was no match for Emochinyon in terms of verbal sparring. If he continued, he would only be asking for humiliation. The bid for VIP room number 3 is 21 million. Is there a higher bid? Seeing Emochinyon and Fan Xian fight, the auctioneer's face immediately lit up. This was the kind of situation they liked the most. You only added 1 million spirit essence stones, how poor. After hearing Fan Xian's bid, Emochinyon taunted, if you're a man then give me 10 million. I'll give you 30 million spirit essence stones. 10 million if you're a man. As soon as Emochinyon's words came out, Fan Xian's complexion immediately turned ugly. He began to hesitate. Originally, he had only planned to spend 10 million spirit essence stones to buy a few collectibles, but now it seemed that he wouldn't be able to buy anything for tens of millions. More importantly, his goal was the final item. He didn't want to spend too much here. After thinking about this, Fan Xian didn't plan on continuing to compete. He coldly said, boy, spending 30 million to buy 3 items of unknown origin, what a waste. After hearing Fan Xian's words, the surrounding people immediately nodded, expressing their agreement with Fan Xian's words. This was 30 million spirit essence stones, not 30,000 spirit essence stones. If they bought something useless, then wouldn't that be a great loss? It was just that as everyone nodded in agreement towards Fan Xian's words, Emochinyon had a disdainful look on his face. He responded, I have a lot of money, but what does that have to do with you? If you want to, then throw in a bid of 40 million spirit essence stones. Boy, don't be so proud. As soon as Fan Xian heard Emochinyon's words, he was so angry that he vomited blood. If he didn't bid, then he wouldn't be a man. At this time, he absolutely could not shrink back. 40 million. Fan Xian said through clenched teeth. 50 million. As soon as Fan Xian's words fell, Emochinyon didn't hesitate to bid once more, adding another 10 million spirit essence stones. After seeing Emochinyon's actions, Fan Xian's complexion immediately became cloudy and uncertain. He began to consider whether or not he should increase the price. If he increased the price, then it would be 60 million spirit essence stones. This was not a small number. If he didn't increase the price, then he would lose face and lose morale in front of Emochinyon. After pondering for a moment, Fan Xian decided to give up. Now was not the time to fight over personal feelings. He couldn't lose sight of the bigger picture. My goal is the final item. I can't ruin everything because of this. Fan Xian comforted himself. His complexion improved a bit. He coldly said, Humph. You want to wait for me to increase the price so that you can shrink back. I won't fall for your trick. If you don't dare, then you don't dare. To make excuses for yourself is the action of a piece of trash. Hearing Fan Xian's words, Emochinyon didn't back down at all. His words were filled with an incomparably thick sarcasm. As soon as Fan Xian heard Emochinyon's words, he shot up from his chair. He glared at Emochinyon's room and said, Boy, if you have the guts, then compete with me for the final item. Are you trying to scare me? Emochinyon disdainfully smiled. He responded, I hope that when the time comes you can fight like a man. Don't be like this, going soft after 3 moves. If 10 million is 1 centimeter, then that thing of yours is only 3 centimeters. It's too short. 3 centimeters. Too short. As soon as everyone heard Emo Qingyun's words, their expressions immediately became strange. They suppressed the urge to laugh in their hearts. The person in room number 8 is so annoying. He said such shameful words. However, I like it a lot. I think that if he can say such words, he should be very mighty. If he's very handsome, just based on his words, I'll let him gallop free of charge. Some of the women in the auction house were blushing and had different expressions as they spoke shyly. Haha, this brother's true temperament suits my taste. I'm Hu Lai from the Beast Kingdom. I wonder if I can be friends with you. At this moment, the person in room number 9 spoke to Emo Qingyun in a friendly manner. Friend, I'm Fan Fong from the Giant Kingdom. I also want to be friends with you. One of the people in VIP room number 10 said in a loud voice that was deafening to the ears. As soon as they heard the words of the people in room number 9 and 10, the expressions of the people in the auction house changed once again. Their faces were filled with shock and envy. This kid is actually able to gain the favor of the people from the 10 kingdoms. His luck is pretty good. That's true. With the help of the people from the Beast King Valley and the Giant Kingdom, I think he should be able to keep his life. This kid's actions just now were probably to attract the attention of the 10 kingdoms. This move is quite brilliant. In an instant, the other people in the auction house began to speak their thoughts one after another. However, did Emo Qingyun really think so? Want to be friends with me? Hearing the words of the two, Emo Qingyun revealed a playful smile. However, he didn't immediately respond to them. In Emo Qingyun's opinion, if the other party knew his identity, he didn't know if they would still say that. Hu Lai, Fan Fong, the two of you are friends with him. Aren't you afraid of offending Fan Xian? After a short moment, seeing that Emo Qingyun didn't respond to the two of them, a person in room number 2 emitted a gloomy voice and said, Also, he seems to be unwilling to be friends with the two of you. As soon as he heard the words of the person in room number 2 to sow discord, Emo Qingyun revealed a trace of coldness and indifference, and he replied, Don't worry, no matter who I want to be friends with, I won't be friends with a weird fellow like you. Your voice is neither male nor female. I wonder if your lower body hasn't developed well. Lower body hasn't developed well? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, the expressions of everyone changed once more. They forcefully held back their laughter, and it was truly difficult to hold it in. However, they had no choice but to hold it in. The person in room number 2 was even more terrifying than Fan Xian in room number 3. They were the Corpse Kingdom that was ranked second in the 10 kingdoms. These fellows from the Corpse Kingdom were always in the company of corpses. All of them were gloomy and incomparably ruthless. They absolutely couldn't be easily offended. After responding to the person in room number 2, Emo Qingyun said to the auctioneer, Don't just stand there. If no one else is bidding, hurry up and announce the result. After hearing Emo Qingyun's words, the auctioneer didn't dare to hesitate. He immediately asked around. Seeing no one continue to increase the price, the auctioneer announced the results of the auction. These 3 mysterious eyelashes were won by Emo Qingyun. Finally, Emo Qingyun won the 3 mysterious eyelashes for a price of 50 million spirit essence stones. Seeing this result, Emo Qingyun's lips curved up in a smile. 50 million spirit essence stones to win these 3 eyelashes was just too profitable for him. After Emo Qingyun won the 3 mysterious eyelashes, the auctioneer took out another item to auction. It was a long sword, a low-grade prized artifact-level sword. Emo Qingyun wasn't interested in this, so he didn't participate in the bidding. Emo Qingyun wasn't interested in any of the following items, so he didn't bid on any of them. On the other hand, the people from the 10 kingdoms actually bid on some items during this time. Seeing Emo Qingyun not bid on any items during this time, Fan Xian disdainfully said, I thought you were awesome, but it turns out you were just talking big. You've only bid on one item and you're already withering away. Useless. Hearing Fan Xian's words, Emo Qingyun was stunned for a moment. Then, he disdainfully responded, "It's just some scrap metal. I don't even care about it, yet you treat it as a treasure. You want to compete with me for the finale item?" At this time, as Emo Qingyun and Fan Xian were ridiculing each other. Chapter 245. As soon as they saw the finale item being taken out, everyone's expression became tense and no longer spoke. Emo Qingyun and Fan Xian didn't say anything else and prepared to compete for the final item. The auctioneer didn't waste any more words after seeing everyone's expression and said, "There are a total of 100 power runic stones here. The starting price is 50 million, and each bid must be at least 1 million. The auction house went into an uproar when the auctioneer announced the starting price. Everyone exclaimed in shock. 50 million? That's too expensive. I don't even have the right to bid. This isn't something you and I can compete for. We'd better sit aside and watch the show. I wonder who will get these power runic stones next. I'm guessing that the people from the 10 great kingdoms have a higher chance." The people in the ordinary seats gave up at this moment and watched the show obediently. "I'll start by throwing a brick to attract jade. I bid 50 million. At that moment, right after the auctioneer finished speaking, the person in VIP room number 19 let out a silvery bell-like voice. It was a very pleasant voice. The person in VIP room 19 was actually a woman. 60 million. As soon as the person in VIP room 19 spoke, Fan Xian, who was in VIP room 3, announced his price in an overbearing manner. After Fan Xian announced the price, he looked at Emo Qingyun's VIP room 8 and said provocatively, "Kid, weren't you very arrogant just now? Why aren't you bidding now?" The corners of Emo Qingyun's mouth curled up when he heard Fan Xian's words. He revealed a faint smile and said, "I originally planned on letting you jump around a little. Since you're so anxious, I'll play with you." As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he didn't say anything else and opened his mouth to bid. "I bid 600 million. Whoosh. The auction house went into an uproar when Emo Qingyun said that. Everyone was shocked and their eyes widened. They couldn't believe what they had just heard. The price had increased tenfold in an instant. This was too much. The guy in VIP room 8 is too fierce. He increased the price tenfold in an instant. F***CK. Is this guy planning to kill the people from the 10 great kingdoms? Aren't you going to give the people of the 10 great kingdoms a chance to bid? Does this guy's elemental spirit stones come from a flood? That's way too rich. This guy is really... He didn't even give us a chance to speak." Everyone in the auction hall had bitter expressions on their faces. They were shocked by Emo Qingyun's actions. At this moment, while everyone was still in shock, Emo Qingyun revealed a faint smile and taunted Fan Xian, "My bid is 10 times yours. If you have the ability, you can also bid 10 times mine." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, the expressions of the people in the auction house immediately became strange. This guy is so cunning. At this moment, everyone gave Emo Qingyun an evaluation in their hearts. Fan Xian had bid 60 million. Even if he increased it tenfold, it would only be 600 million. If Fan Xian increased it tenfold, it would be 6 billion. 6 billion and 600 million were different in nature. It was estimated that not many people in the entire 100 countries battlefield could take out that much money. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Fan Xian was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He knew that he had been tricked by Emo Qingyun again and was momentarily speechless. Hearing Fan Xian's silence, Emo Qingyun responded with disdain, "I thought you were awesome, but it turns out that you're only SOSO. Since that's the case, you can just bid 5 times the price." 5 times? That was still 3 billion elemental spirit stones, right? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Fan Xian's face became bitter again. He didn't know what to say. After realizing this, Emo Qingyun's mocking expression became even more intense. He mocked, "You can't even bid 5 times? Then how about 4 times? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Fan Xian was once again at a loss for words. He didn't know how to respond. There was no way around it. He didn't have that many elemental spirit stones. What happened next was this. 3 times. 2 times? 1.5 times. Don't tell me you can't even bid 600 million? Emo Qingyun constantly lowered the price, but Fan Xian still couldn't open his mouth. His face became incomparably red. There was no way around it. When Fan Xian went out this time, he had brought over 600 million elemental spirit stones with him. In the previous auction, he had used up some of them. Now, he had less than 600 million left. As soon as Emo Qingyun opened his mouth, he had reached his limit. This result made him feel as if he wanted to vomit blood. It could be said that Emo Qingyun's bid just now was far too ruthless. It had directly cut off his hope. Seeing Fan Xian remain silent for a long time, Emo Qingyun's mocking expression became even more intense. He said to Fan Xian, "So after all this time, you can't even make a fart. You want to participate in the auction like this?" After mocking Fan Xian, Emo Qingyun revealed a look of disdain. He continued to mock, "So your 3 centimeters were fake. You even included the bruised skin. Now that you've removed the bruised skin, you don't even have 3 centimeters left. You only bid once, so you only have 1 centimeter left. 1 centimeter is so long." As Emo Qingyun said this, he deliberately dragged out his words. His mocking tone was self-evident. 1 centimeter was so long? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, everyone in the auction house immediately revealed mocking smiles. However, they didn't dare to be too obvious. They were afraid that Fan Xian would vent his anger on them. Emo Qingyun wasn't afraid of Fan Xian, but they were. Fan Xian wasn't someone they could provoke, especially a crazy Fan Xian. Humph! Hearing Emo Qingyun's mocking words, Fan Xian snorted coldly. He didn't continue to talk nonsense with Emo Qingyun. "Kid, I'll play with you." Seeing that Fan Xian didn't speak, the person in room number 2 made a bid in a strange tone. "I bid 610 million. You'll play with me?" Hearing the person in room number 2's words, Emo Qingyun mocked him. Immediately, he started to make a bid. "I bid 1 billion. You." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, the person in room number 2 immediately became flustered and speechless. He was like a duck that had been grabbed by the neck. The price that Emo Qingyun had quoted had already exceeded his limit. Seeing that the other party didn't speak, Emo Qingyun felt slightly disappointed. He said disappointedly, "That's it? No wonder your voice doesn't sound right. You really are underdeveloped. Kid, you've gone too far." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, the person in room number 2 immediately became flustered. His tone was cold as he said, "Just you wait after the auction ends." Just as the person finished speaking, he directly left the VIP room, leaving behind a series of hurried footsteps. Emo Qingyun didn't take the other party's words to heart. He continued to announce his bid and continued to compete with others. As the price rose higher and higher, the number of people participating in the auction also decreased. In the end, the only person left to compete with Emo Qingyun was the person in room number 1. 1,450 million elemental spirit stones. The person in room number 1 coldly announced the price. After that, he coldly said to Emo Qingyun, "Kid, if you withdraw now, I, Soul Puppet, will owe you a favor. I can step forward later to resolve the conflict between you, Fan Xian, and Corpse Bin." From this, it seemed that 1,450 million was the limit of this Soul Puppet. Soul Puppet. The person in VIP room number 1 is actually the First Kingdom's Soul Puppet. This person actually came to the 100 Countries battlefield. Soul Puppet is one of the top 3 geniuses of the Soul Kingdom. His talent is even above Fan Xian's. This kid's luck is really good to be able to obtain a favor from Soul Puppet. I just don't know how this kid will answer. I'm sure he'll agree to Soul Puppet. Is there even a need to ask? He's already offended so many people. If he offends Soul Puppet, he'll really be dead soon. That's right. There's a limit to posturing. This kid has been posturing for a long time. It's time to find a way to end this. At this moment, everyone expressed their thoughts one after another, believing that Emo Chinyun would definitely agree to Soul Puppet. However, at this moment, when everyone thought that Emo Chinyun would compromise, Emo Chinyun spoke. Is your favor worth a lot? If you don't have money, then scram like that corpse bin. Emo Chinyun's face was full of disdain. After replying to Soul Puppet, he once again bid 1,500,000,000 elemental spirit stones. This kid rejected Soul Puppet. As soon as Emo Chinyun's words came out, the expressions of the surrounding people immediately changed. They were extremely surprised by this result. They did not expect that Emo Chinyun would not even give face to Soul Puppet. This kid is finished. He even offended Soul Puppet. Although he has some financial resources, he's too arrogant. This kind of person is destined to not live long. So what if he's rich? He'll still die at the hands of Soul Puppet and the others later. At this moment, some of the surrounding people who hated the rich all let out gloating words. Emo Chinyun had a panoramic view of everyone's performance, but he did not care. These were all people who could not eat grapes and said that the grapes were sour. Big brother Soul Puppet, I have 600,000,000 elemental spirit stones here. I'll lend it to you. After hearing Emo Chinyun's words, Fan Xian, who had not spoken before, said to Soul Puppet, with this 600,000,000 elemental spirit stones, you can definitely beat that kid. Little brother Fan Xian, I appreciate your kindness, but I don't need it. After hearing Fan Xian's words, Hunning responded with a faint smile. He looked at Emo Chinyun's room and said coldly, Boy, you made a very unwise choice just now. You may have won this auction, but you will lose your life because of it. After uttering these cold words, Soul Puppet continued, Do you think that you can obtain those power rune stones just because you won this auction? You're wrong. You're just paying for the elemental spirit stones for me. After I kill you, these power rune stones will still be mine. At this moment, Soul Puppet's killing intent was stirred. After hearing Soul Puppet's words, the faces of everyone in the auction house became tense. Chapter 246. Emo Chinyun did not take Soul Puppet's words to heart at all. He smiled disdainfully when he heard Soul Puppet's words. Afterwards, Emo Chinyun looked towards Soul Puppet's room and said disdainfully, You think too highly of yourself. You're not qualified to take something from me. After replying to Soul Puppet, Emo Chinyun put on an impatient face and urged the auctioneer, announce the result of the auction. The auctioneer did not dare to hesitate when he heard Emo Chinyun's words. He immediately asked the people around him. Seeing that no one continued to raise the price, he immediately announced the result. He announced that the 100 power runic stones were obtained by Emo Chinyun. After the auctioneer announced the results, Emo Chinyun paid 1.5 billion and received the 100 power runic stones. Power runic stones? Emo Chinyun smiled faintly when he saw the 100 stones with runes in his hand. He handed the stones to the 9 temples and said, 9 temples, how much of the power of the 9 temples formation disk can you recover with these star runic formation stones? More than 70%. The 9 temples were pleasantly surprised when they heard Emo Chinyun's words. They replied to Emo Chinyun, Don't worry, young lord. Although it hasn't recovered to 100%, it's no problem to use formations like the burning formation of heavens 3 times. That's great. Emo Chinyun was satisfied when he heard the 9 temples' response. He walked out of the auction house with a smile on his face. He had gained quite a lot from this trip to the auction house. Not only had he obtained the star runic formation stones, but he had also unexpectedly obtained 3 mysterious eyelashes. A while later, Emo Qingyun arrived outside the auction house. However, when Emo Qingyun walked out of the auction house, several groups of people appeared outside and blocked his path. These people were Soul Puppet and the others from the auction house. When the members of Soul Puppet saw Emo Qingyun's appearance, they were immediately shocked. This person in front of them was actually the Purple Eye. The person in VIP room number 8 just now turned out to be the Purple Eye, the infamous ruthless man from a few days ago. He was also the person they had to work together to deal with in the Four Symbols City. The Purple Eye, it's you. After recognizing Emo Qingyun, Fan Xian's face turned gloomy. With a ferocious expression, he shouted at Emo Qingyun, "You are quite bold. We were worried that we would not be able to find you, and you actually delivered yourself to us." As soon as Fan Xian finished speaking, the surrounding people were shocked and looked at Emo Qingyun in disbelief. The Purple Eye, the ruthless person that the 10 great kingdoms had teamed up to deal with, had actually appeared here. At this moment, they finally understood why the person in VIP room 8 didn't throw the people from the 10 great kingdoms away. With the enmity between Emo Qingyun and the 10 great kingdoms, it would be extremely strange if he cared about the people from the 10 great kingdoms. So the person in VIP room number 8 just now was the Purple Eye. No wonder he wasn't afraid of the people from the 10 great kingdoms. So that's how it is. In that case, everything makes sense. However, the Purple Eye is too damn rich. What do you know? The Purple Eye obtained the 9 temples treasure trove and the ancient treasure trove. How can he not be rich? Not to mention the 2 great treasures. Just the fact that he killed a few thousand cultivators outside the 9 temples treasure trove and obtained their Qiankuan bags is a huge fortune. At this moment everyone couldn't help but sigh. Their eyes were filled with admiration as they looked at Emo Qingyun. In one's life, to be able to act as freely as Emo Qingyun, to wield a sword and travel to the ends of the world without being restrained, was the true pursuit of a cultivator. After coldly sizing up Emo Qingyun, Soul Puppet's expression darkened. He looked at Emo Qingyun and said coldly, "The Purple Eye, I see that you are a talent. Now, as long as you give me the Power Rune Stone, the 2 great treasures, and the method of cultivating the Eye Demon and submit to me, I can spare your life." "Who do you think you are? What right do you have to spare my life?" After hearing Soul Puppet's words, Emo Qingyun looked at him disdainfully and replied playfully, "How about this? I'll tell you now. As long as you offer up your mother for everyone to admire, I'll let you go today. How about that?" Upon hearing Emo Qingyun's words, the surrounding people's expressions immediately changed, becoming complicated and interesting. At the same time, some people looked at Emo Qingyun with admiration and secretly gave Emo Qingyun a thumbs up. He was too awesome. In the entire 100 countries battlefield, only Emo Qingyun dared to speak to someone from the First Kingdom like that. "You're courting death." Seeing everyone looking at him strangely, Soul Puppet's expression darkened and he was about to attack Emo Qingyun. "Brother Soul Puppet, you don't have to do anything. Let me deal with this boy." Just as Soul Puppet was about to attack, Fan Xian stepped forward and interrupted Soul Puppet's actions. He looked at Emo Qingyun disdainfully and said, "The Purple Eye, everyone says that you're good with the saber. Today, I, Fan Xian, will let you know what a real saber technique is." You're not qualified." After hearing Fan Xian's words, Emo Qingyun glanced at him disdainfully. Then, he looked impatiently at Soul Puppet and the others and said, "Do you want to come at me one by one or all at once? Just do it, no need to talk nonsense. I alone am enough to deal with you." After hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Fan Xian's expression darkened and he directly slashed at Emo Qingyun with his saber. When the others saw this, they all retreated to the side and allowed Fan Xian and Emo Qingyun to fight. They were not in a hurry to attack together. Like Fan Xian, They thought that Emo Qingyun was unworthy of his reputation and was not worthy of them attacking together. Remorseless frenzied saber, Fan Xian slashed out with his saber. A terrifying wave of yuan power immediately erupted from the long saber in his hand and turned into a huge black saber shadow. As soon as the black saber shadow appeared, it blasted toward Emo Qingyun with an indomitable aura. It was as if it could kill any god or immortal. Sun-incinerating, mountain-shattering saber. Faced with Fan Xian's attack, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate. He directly slashed out with the fiery silk saber in his hand. As soon as the fiery silk saber fell, it exploded with an even more terrifying power of flame. It turned into a terrifying fiery dragon saber ray and attacked Fan Xian's saber shadow. As the fiery dragon saber ray slashed out, a shocking power of ultimacy erupted from its body. This was the level 3 fire ultimacy. With the support of this ultimacy, the fiery dragon saber ray's power was immediately strengthened to the extreme. Level 3 fire ultimacy. Feeling the ultimacy on the fiery dragon saber ray, not only did Fan Xian's expression change, but even the expressions of Soul Puppet and the others changed. After Fan Xian's black saber shadow met the fiery dragon saber ray, it was instantly defeated and dissipated between heaven and earth. After the fiery dragon saber ray killed Fan Xian's saber, its attack did not decrease and continued to attack aggressively. Everyone attacked together. Seeing this, Soul Puppet no longer hesitated. He immediately reminded everyone and raised his hand to attack Emo Qingyun. As Soul Puppet attacked, Bin and the others also attacked to block Emo Qingyun's attack for Fan Xian. To Emo Qingyun's surprise, Hu Lai, Fan Feng, and the others did not attack with the others. After seeing this scene, Emo Qingyun nodded at the two of them and said, "I'll treat you two as my friends." From their actions, Emo Qingyun felt that they really intended to be friends with him. As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he slashed at Fan Xian with the fiery silk saber in his hand. He said coldly, "Even if you attack together, you can't stop me from killing you." Bird of prey break. Emo Qingyun moved and turned into a stream of light. He charged at Fan Xian and pulled away from Soul Puppet and the others. Sun-incinerating, mountain-splitting saber, Emo Qingyun closed in on Fan Xian and decisively slashed his saber at him. His movements were as smooth as flowing water. At this moment, when Emo Qingyun swung the fiery silk saber, a shocking aura erupted from his body. It was as though he had merged with heaven and earth. This was saber force. Saber force, how terrifying! Feeling Emo Qingyun's saber force, the surrounding people's expressions immediately changed. Their faces were filled with awe and fear. Roar! While everyone was still in shock, the fiery silk saber's flame power flourished and a terrifying fiery dragon saber ray erupted. As soon as this fire dragon saber light appeared, it shot towards Fan Xian with extreme speed, and it carried an irresistible force. Sky-splitting saber. Seeing Emo Qingyun attack, Fan Xian did not dare to hesitate. He immediately summoned his martial soul and displayed his martial soul superpower. After Fan Xian displayed his martial soul superpower, he became one with the saber in his hand. It was as though he had become one with the saber as he charged at the fiery dragon saber ray. Bang! When Fan Xian and the fiery dragon saber ray collided, a loud sound was immediately emitted. A shocking fluctuation of origin energy erupted from it. Pooh! When the fluctuation of origin energy was emitted, Fan Xian's body was immediately sent flying and he spat out blood. Fan Xian was sent flying with a single move. After seeing this scene, everyone's expressions changed and they revealed a trace of shock. They were slightly surprised by this outcome. Raptor break. However, at this moment, while everyone was shocked, Emo Qingyun's figure flashed again and charged at Fan Xian again. Die. Emo Qingyun's saber was extremely swift. Before anyone could react, it had forcefully slashed at Fan Xian's chest. Poochie! With a raise of his hand, the saber descended. Blood splattered everywhere. Fan Xian was killed. Seeing Emo Qingyun kill Fan Xian so cleanly, the surrounding people's expressions twitched, and they looked at Emo Qingyun with reverence. While everyone revealed reverence, Emo Qingyun raised his hand and gestured, taking Fan Xian's universe pouch into his hand. After that, Emo Qingyun charged towards the corpse bin and said coldly, "Next, it's your turn. Kid, don't go too far." As soon as he saw Emo Qingyun charge over, the corpse bin's expression twitched, and he let out a cold and indifferent voice as he controlled a black figure to charge at Emo Qingyun. This was a zombie that was similar to a puppet, and it was a unique ability of the Corpse Kingdom. However, the imposing aura of a zombie was even stronger, colder, and more terrifying than a puppet. It constantly emitted a bloody and corrosive aura. Merely relying on this isn't enough to stop me. When he saw the zombie charging at him, the corners of Emo Qingyun's mouth curled up and he revealed a trace of a cold smile, and a strand of violet light flashed within his eyes. I-Force Ray. A violet light with a shocking imposing aura shot out explosively from Emo Qingyun's eyes and blasted towards the corpse bin with extreme speed. Poochie. Following that, before the corpse bin could react, the I-Force Ray pierced through his head. His eyes widened as he let out an unwilling cry. No, because Emo Qingyun displayed a powerful saber momentum earlier, it made him forget for a moment that Emo Qingyun still had a powerful trump card, the I-Force Ray. After killing the corpse bin, Emo Qingyun raised his hand and gestured, keeping the corpse bin's universe pouch as well. He revealed a trace of a faint smile and said, "Broke even?" After letting out a pleasantly surprised cry, Emo Qingyun revealed a faint smile and looked at Han Ying and the rest, saying, "That's all for today. I'll slowly take care of you guys when we reach Four Symbol City." With that, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated and directly fled far away. Chapter 247. Broke even? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, the surrounding people were all stunned, not understanding the meaning of Emo Qingyun's words for a moment. After being stunned for a brief moment, everyone's expressions shook, understanding the meaning of Emo Qingyun's words. Just now, Emo Qingyun auctioned off several items at the auction house, spending a total of 1.5 billion essence spirit stones. And the sum of Fan Xian and Corpse Bin's wealth was around this amount. Now, Emo Qingyun killed the two and seized their cosmos bags. In this case, it was indeed breaking even. After discovering this, everyone's expressions involuntarily changed, feeling a sense of irony in their hearts. Just now, the people from the 10 great kingdoms had this idea to deal with Emo Qingyun. But in the blink of an eye, both sides' identities swap. Emo Qingyun became the eagle, but they became the chickens that were caught. Such an outcome was really dramatic enough. Big Brother Soul Puppet, should we continue chasing? After being stunned for a brief moment, a person from the Soul Kingdom revealed a cold expression and asked Soul Puppet. No need. Hearing the words of the person beside him, Soul Puppet's expression was grim, raising his hand to indicate for everyone not to chase. Could it be that we're just going to let the purple eye escape like this? Hearing Soul Puppet's decision, the people from the Corpse Kingdom and Blade Kingdom all had furious expressions, expressing their dissatisfaction with Soul Puppet's decision. Just earlier, Fan Xian and Corpse Bin both died at the hands of Emo Qingyun. Can you all catch up? Seeing the expressions of the people from the Blade Kingdom and Corpse Kingdom, Soul Puppet's face fell, issuing a question to them. Hearing Soul Puppet's words, the people from the two kingdoms all shut their mouth. They were unable to refute Soul Puppet's word. Emo Qingyun comprehended the second-level wind profundity, his speed moving like the wind. They had no way of catching up at all. Besides, even if they caught up, what could they do? Emo Qingyun's methods were strange and ever-changing. He was not what they could deal with at all. Everyone, don't panic. Let me finish. Seeing everyone's indignant expressions, Hunning spread his hands at them and said, "Although we were careless and allowed the purple-eyed demon monarch to kill Fan Xian and Sherbin, it's not like we didn't gain anything." "Brother Soul Puppet, do you mean?" Hearing the Soul Puppet's words, everyone's expression changed, revealing a trace of confusion as they waited for the Soul Puppet's answer. "What do you think is the Purple Eye's strongest technique?" Hun Fei sneered and asked the crowd. "The Purple Eye's strongest move? Big Brother Soul Puppet, are you talking about his eye demon eye?" "It's definitely not his eyes. I think Brother Soul Puppet is referring to his array formation. It must be the array formation." Without the help of the array formation, the Purple Eye only has a few more tricks up his sleeve. There is nothing to be afraid of. Back then, outside the secret treasure of the 9 temples, if he didn't know the array formation, he definitely couldn't have killed thousands of cultivators by himself. When he fought with us just now, he didn't seem to have used the array formation. With his character, he shouldn't have done that. Could it be, at this moment, everyone began to ponder. Soon, their eyes lit up as they thought of a possibility. The Purple Eye might not be able to use the array formation. You think the same as me? After seeing everyone's expressions, the gloomy expression on Hun Ying's face immediately became more intense. He said, "If I'm not wrong, the Purple Eye's array formation trump card should have been used up. Otherwise, he clearly killed 2 people in a row just now and had the upper hand in terms of momentum. There is no reason for him to run away. In my opinion, the reason he ran away is because he can't use the array formation. Although his strength is not bad, even an elephant can't fight against an army of ants." Hun Ying analyzed the reason Mo Qingyun ran for everyone. "He knows that he can't hold on under our joint forces, so he ran away." Hearing Hun Ying's analysis, the expressions of the surrounding people changed. They nodded repeatedly, expressing their agreement with Hun Ying's analysis. "The Purple Eye is too cunning. He ran away as soon as he saw that he was no match for us. The next time I meet him, I will definitely tear him into pieces. He killed the people of my corpse kingdom. I will refine him into a corpse king and make him unable to reincarnate for eternity." Humph. Now that he doesn't have the help of the array formation, the Purple Eye is nothing to worry about. In the future, he will definitely become a street rat. At this moment, the people of the 10 kingdoms gritted their teeth and spoke gloomily. "Everyone, don't worry. The Purple Eye won't be able to escape. Although he is arrogant and cunning, he has a fatal weakness, and that is that he is very loyal." When everyone spoke gloomily, Hun Fei revealed a cold smile and said, "As long as Lu Fengliang and the others are in our hands, he will definitely show himself. We just have to go to 4 Symbols City and wait for him to appear." "Brother Hun Ying, you're wise. As long as he falls to 4 Symbols City, he will definitely not be able to return." Hearing Hun Ying's words, everyone's expressions changed, and they sneered complacently. Looking at them, it was as if Mo Qingyun had already fallen into their trap. "Before we deal with the Purple Eye, let's take care of a few people first." After replying to everyone, Hun Ying looked at Fan Fong and the others with a gloomy expression and said coldly, "Fan Fong, Hu Lai, why didn't you interfere when we were dealing with the purple-eyed devil monarch? Could it be that you intend to ally with the devil?" Hu Lai revealed an expression of disdain when he heard Hun Ying's words. He said with displeasure, "Hun Ying, it's not up to you to tell us what to do. Also, you don't have the right to order us around. If it was Hun Xian, that would be more like it." "Hun Ying, stop joking." After Hu Lai's words, Fan Fong revealed an unconcerned smile and said, "Didn't you see? Just now, Fan Xian and Shi Bin couldn't even resist under the attack of the purple-eyed devil monarch and were killed by the purple-eyed devil monarch. Our strength is inferior to theirs. If we attack the purple-eyed devil monarch, wouldn't that be courting death? Cowards!" Hun Ying's expression immediately darkened when he heard Hu Lai and Fan Fong's words. he said disdainfully to them. After that, Hun Ing continued, the reason Violet I Devil Monarch was able to succeed earlier was mainly because it happened suddenly and everyone wasn't prepared. Moreover, Fan Xian and Shi Bin had underestimated their enemy and didn't utilize their trump cards. If they utilized their trump cards, then Violet I Devil Monarch might not be able to gain the upper hand. It's too late to say this now. Why don't we use our trump cards the next time we meet the Purple Eye? Fan Fong grinned and gave Hun Ing a perfunctory smile. There was no sincerity in his tone. As for Hu Lai, he had a look of disdain. He glanced at Hun Ing and the others and didn't even speak to them. Everyone, stop arguing. The main thing now is to deal with the Purple Eye. We can't panic. Seeing the awkward atmosphere, the people from the Fantasy Kingdom began to smooth things over. Immediately, everyone's expressions turned for the better. After a simple discussion, they got up and went to Four Symbol City. At this moment, while the 10 kingdoms were heading to Four Symbol City, Emo Qinyun found a remote place to stop. After stopping, Emo Qinyun smiled faintly and thought to himself, I'll refine the 3 mysterious eyelashes first and strengthen my eye bloodline before continuing to Four Symbol City. But before that, let's see if there are any treasures in Fan Xian and Shi Bin's universe bags. Emo Qinyun revealed a look of anticipation. He took out Fan Xian and Shi Bin's universe bags and opened them to check. Fan Xian and Shi Bin's identities aren't ordinary. I'm sure there should be some good stuff in their universe bags. As soon as Fan Xian's universe bag was opened, Emo Qinyun saw various materials and pills. It was a dazzling array. Their wealth could be said to be explosively abundant. What a powerful aura! After seeing the various materials, Emo Qinyun's expression suddenly changed. He felt a sharp and terrifying aura in Fan Xian's universe bag. After this discovery, Emo Qinyun found 3 green blade lights in Fan Xian's universe bag. They emitted a terrifying aura. This is the blade qi condensed by a Pill Palace expert. After discovering this, Emo Qinyun's expression changed. A trace of lingering fear appeared on his face, and he felt a lingering fear. If Fan Xian used these 3 blade qi, he would be in a bad situation. He could only run away with his tail between his legs. That was close. Although this blade qi isn't as strong as the Pill Palace's Big Dipper, it's still extremely powerful. It's enough to threaten a Yuan Dan expert. Emo Qinyun took a deep breath and rejoiced in his heart. Luckily, he acted fast enough and Fan Xian didn't have time to use these trump cards. After rejoicing, Emo Qinyun's face was filled with anticipation. He took out Shi Bin's universe bag and said with anticipation, this Shi Bin's identity is more honorable than Fan Xian's. There should be more treasures in his universe bag. Then, with this thought in mind, Emo Qinyun opened Shi Bin's cosmos bag and looked through it. After checking it, the result didn't disappoint Emo Qinyun. The collection in Shi Bin's universe bag was indeed much richer than Fan Xian's. What made Emo Qinyun happy was that there was also a powerful trump card in Shi Bin's universe bag. Dark Fiend Corpse Lightning. Seeing the black mass of air in Shi Bin's universe bag, Emo Qinyun's expression changed. He exclaimed, this is the Dark Fiend Corpse Lightning refined from the corpse qi of a Pill Palace zombie. This thing is much more dangerous than the blade qi just now. So close, so close. I didn't let Shi Bin use this thing in time. At this moment, Emo Qinyun couldn't help but rejoice in his heart. He escaped in time. Otherwise, if these guys used their trump cards together, he wouldn't be able to handle it. After rejoicing in his heart, Emo Qinyun put away Fan Xian and Shi Bin's items and began refining the mysterious eyelashes. He refined the eye devil bloodline in the 3 eyelashes to strengthen his eye's bloodline power. Chapter 248. In the blink of an eye, a day passed. At this moment, a purple glint appeared in Emo Qinyun's eyes, emitting a shocking aura. After refining the 3 mysterious eyelashes, his bloodline in his eyes strengthened once more. The eye power in his eyes also became stronger. Mo Qingyun had a feeling right now that the strength of his eye power should be comparable to the eye power of 7 pairs of wings. That was also to say that the power of his eye power rays now was comparable to the full-powered attack of a true element realm 7th level expert. Time to head for 4 Symbol City. Seeing that he had refined the 3 mysterious eyelashes, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He got up and rushed towards 4 Symbol City, thinking to himself, with my speed, I should be able to reach 4 Symbol City before the 10 Kingdoms. When Mo Qingyun was rushing towards 4 Symbol City, a piece of news regarding him spread wildly. That was, the Purple Eye was unable to use the array formation. The Purple Eye is unable to use the array formation? Is this news true or false? Is it reliable? Of course it's true. In Star Lane City, the people of the 10 Great Kingdoms fought against the purple-eyed Devil Monarch. How could this be false? Then it can't be false. No wonder everyone is heading towards 4 Symbol City. Looks like they're planning to fish in troubled waters. Is there even a need to say that? How many treasures does the Purple Eye have on him? They'll strike it rich just by casually grabbing one. If the Purple Eye is seriously injured by everyone and then allows me to take the opportunity to kill him and obtain the treasures on him, I'll strike it rich. There's no time to lose. Let's head to 4 Symbol City too. Otherwise, if we're late, the treasures won't be ours anymore. After receiving the news that Mo Qingyun was unable to use the array formation, everyone seemed to have gone mad, rushing towards 4 Symbol City one after another. At this moment, their hearts were filled with intense greed. Their hearts had already been blackened by benefit. In their opinion, the Purple Eye was unable to use the formation, so he could not carry out a large-scale massacre. His battle prowess would definitely be greatly reduced. If that was the case, the Purple Eye would be hunted down by the 10 Great Kingdoms because he was weak and powerless. In the end, he would die in the 100 Kingdoms battlefield. In this way, wouldn't they have the opportunity to take advantage of the Purple Eye's weakness to hit him when he was down and make him suffer under their blades? At that time, the Purple Eye's treasures would be theirs. They might even get the method to cultivate the demonic eye, making them famous. As for how small the probability of such a thing happening was, and whether they would lose their lives because of it, they did not consider it at all. As everyone rushed towards 4 Symbol City like a madman, the news of Mo Qingyun not being able to use array formations finally spread to 4 Symbol City. What? The Purple Eye can't use the array? In 4 Symbol City's City Lord's residence, Ying Feng was pleasantly surprised when he heard this news. He confirmed with the guard who reported it, "Is this news reliable?" "Lord Ying Feng, this news is absolutely reliable. It is said that Lord Soul Puppet of the First Kingdom personally said this." The guard immediately revealed a respectful expression when he heard Ying Feng's question. He replied, "Moreover, it's said that Lord Soul Puppet's group fought with the purple-eyed Devil Monarch. In the end, the purple-eyed Devil Monarch was defeated and fled. After Lord Soul Puppet's group repelled the purple-eyed Devil Monarch, they've already rushed over to 4 Symbol City." The purple-eyed Devil Monarch was repelled? Ying Feng was pleasantly surprised when he heard the guard's words. He sneered, "The Purple Eye, without the help of the formation, you are just so. After saying this, Ying Feng revealed a trace of arrogance and asked the guard, "How are Ling Luo and the others now?" "These fellows are still the same as before. Every one of them is as stubborn as a duck." After hearing Ying Feng's words, the guard immediately revealed a trace of anger and reported it to Ying Feng. It seemed that they had suffered quite a bit while guarding Ling Luo and the others. "Let's go and see them." After hearing the guard's words, Ying Feng revealed a smug expression and walked out of the city lord's residence. He sneered, "Now let's give them a surprise. If they know that the Purple Eye can't use the array, their expressions will be very interesting." "Ha! Soon, Ing Feng and the others arrived outside the city lord's residence on a platform that had been built not long ago. At this moment there was a huge iron cage placed on the high platform. Inside the iron cage there were iron chains. Every 5 iron chains had a person tied to it. These people who were chained up were Ling Luo, Long Yutian, and the others. At this moment, Ling Luo and the others were in a sorry state. Other than Ling Luo, the others had many injuries on their bodies. Son of a bitch, that fellow is here again. Seeing Ing Feng's arrival, Ling Luo said angrily and glared at Ing Feng and the others. After that, Ling Luo said apologetically to Long Yutian and the others, Brother Long, Brother Liang, Miss Ruo Shui, and everyone else, it's all my fault. I've implicated you all. Hearing Ling Luo's words, Ruo Shui frowned and glared at him fiercely. However, there was no resentment in her eyes. Brat, what's the point of saying all this now? Hearing Ling Luo's words, Long Yutian smiled bitterly and said to Ling Luo, Brat, you're cultivating well in the secret room. Why are you running around for no reason? You're not like me. Your mouth will itch if you don't drink. When Ling Luo heard Long Yutian's words, he instantly revealed an awkward expression. He smiled embarrassedly and said, This, isn't Pink City famous for its beautiful girls? I've been in Pink City for so many days, but I haven't been there to take a look. I couldn't help it and wanted to take a look. Who knew? Hearing Ling Luo's reply, Long Yutian and the others were speechless. They didn't know what to say. After all this time, this brat was caught by Ing Feng and the others because of this. You're about to die and you're still in the mood to talk about women. At this moment, just as Ling Luo and the others were talking, a cold snort came from the side. You damned eagle, don't be so happy. When my boss comes to save me, I'll definitely kill you. Upon hearing Ing Feng's words, Ling Luo spat at him and replied with a look of disdain. Your boss is coming to save you? Hearing Ling Luo's words, Ing Feng laughed coldly and said, Brat, I'm afraid you won't be able to wait until that day. Let me tell you the truth, the purple eye can't use the array now. He can't even save himself, so don't expect him to save you. What? Brother Mo can't use the array? Brother Mo uses the array disk of the 9 temples. Does that mean that the array disk of the 9 temples has run out of energy? That should be the case. Does that mean that Brother Mo can't use the array anymore? Hearing Ing Feng's words, Long Yutian and the others' expressions changed, revealing looks of surprise. After realizing this, Long Yutian and the others felt their hearts sink. If Mo Qinyan couldn't use the array, if Mo Qinyan came to save them, they might even die. While Long Yutian and the others' hearts were heavy, Ing Feng smiled coldly and said, Also, not long ago, the purple-eyed Devil Emperor encountered the experts of the 10 great kingdoms. After a battle, he was beaten like a stray dog and fled with his tail between his legs. What's there to be happy about? At most, we'll die. Seeing the smug look on Ing Feng's face, Ling Luo replied with disdain, After we die, my boss will definitely avenge us. With my boss's talent, it'll be a piece of cake for him to kill you all if he has enough time. He won't have that chance. After hearing Ling Luo's words, Ing Feng smiled and shook his head. The purple eye's talent is very high, I can't deny that. However, he has a fatal weakness, and that is his arrogance and loyalty. Now that he knows that you've fallen into our hands, he'll definitely come to save you. Eagle Peak revealed a complacent expression and said, You probably don't know, but countless experts have arrived in 4 Symbol City in the past few days. I can guarantee that as soon as the purple-eyed Devil Monarch appears, he will immediately be besieged and killed. After replying to Ling Luo and the others, Ing Feng smiled coldly at the guards beside him. You guys go over there and drag that brat out. Kill him. Hearing Ing Feng's words, Long Yutian and the others' faces immediately darkened. They berated him. Ing Feng, didn't you say that you'd only kill 1 person a day? You've already killed one today, why are you killing another now? Why? Because I'm in a good mood today. To celebrate the purple eye being unable to use the formation, I'll kill one more person to celebrate. Ying Feng smiled proudly at Long Yutian and the others' questions. After replying to Long Yutian and the others, he ordered the guards, "Kill him! Ying Feng, you'll die a horrible death." Long Yutian and the others were enraged by Ying Feng's words and roared at him. "Haha, don't worry. Even if you're all dead, I won't die either." Ying Feng did not care at all about Long Yutian and the others' words and replied proudly. At this moment, Mo Qingyun immediately sensed that person being killed. I've lost contact with another soul-sucking brand. This is the second soul-sucking brand I've lost contact with today. Mo Qingyun immediately frowned when he discovered this. The uneasiness in his heart grew even stronger as he thought to himself, have the people of the 10 kingdoms arrived in 4 Symbol City ahead of time? Looks like I have to speed up. The teleportation gate. With this thought, Mo Qingyun unleashed his martial soul super ability and rushed towards 4 Symbol City. Around half a day later, Mo Qingyun finally arrived at 4 Symbol City after traveling tirelessly. After arriving at 4 Symbol City, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate to unleash his spiritual power to sense the location of Rouge and the others. There in the city lord's mansion. Chapter 249. Just as Mo Qingyun was making his way to the city governor's mansion, Han Ying and the rest had also arrived at 4 Symbol City. After arriving at 4 Symbol City, Han Ying and the rest hurried to the city governor's mansion, waiting for Mo Qingyun to walk right into their trap. Mo Qingyun did not know that Han Ying and the rest had arrived. It didn't take long for Mo Qingyun to arrive outside the city governor's estate as he moved swiftly, and he saw the huge platform before it. Ling Luo, Brother Lu, Brother Long, Ruoshui, Rufin. He looked at the people on the high platform who were chained up like wild beasts in cages. At this moment, Mo Qingyun's expression was extremely gloomy. Just as Mo Qingyun's face darkened and his body emitted a murderous aura, the 9 temples said excitedly, "Young Lord, the Starline Array stones have all been refined. The effect is better than expected. The 9 temples array disc has recovered 80% of its power." "Good, you did well." After hearing Jiugong's words, Mo Qingyun praised him and didn't hesitate any longer. His figure flashed and charged towards the high platform. Bird of prey break. Mo Qingyun's body moved. He turned into an afterimage. Like a streamer of light, he charged towards the high platform. As Mo Qingyun moved, wind blades immediately appeared around him and swept toward him like a storm of sharp blades. Swoosh, 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 under the storm of wind blades, the people around Mo Qingyun were injured by the storm of wind blades, leaving wounds on their bodies. Fire Dragon Seal. As soon as he reached the platform, Mo Qingyun took out 81 Fire Dragon Seals and charged toward the people on the platform. Bang 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 then, the Fire Dragon Battle Seal carried a shocking heat wave and blasted toward the crowd. Faced with the attack of the Fire Dragon Seals, the 4th-level True Energy Realm Guards were all sent flying off the platform in the blink of an eye. Mo Qingyun, boss. The purple eye. After this scene appeared, everyone immediately saw Mo Qingyun, and each of them revealed a look of surprise. The purple-eyed Devil Monarch had really come. It seemed that the rumors were true. The purple-eyed Devil Monarch was indeed a loyal person. "Boss, hurry up and leave. They've already set up an ambush for you." As soon as Ling Luo saw Mo Qingyun arrive, he became anxious and shouted a warning to Mo Qingyun. "Brother Mo, we will remember this favor of yours." Seeing Mo Qingyun appear, Long Yutian was also touched. He reminded Mo Qingyun, "You can't use the formation now. You're outnumbered. It's too dangerous for you to stay here. Leave now." "Let's go," Lu Fengliang said in a deep voice with a cold expression. "Remember to avenge us." Ruo Shui's eyes flashed with worry. she said to Imo Chinyan with concern. Idiot, don't you know that they left us alive to lure you here? Pink and the others were also touched. They said firmly, Master, hurry up and leave. Otherwise, it'll be too late when the people from the 10 kingdoms arrive. Hearing their words of concern, Imo Chinyan was touched. He smiled faintly and replied, It's too late. They're already here. As soon as Imo Chinyan finished speaking, a group of people arrived before the city lord's mansion. All of them sneered at Imo Chinyan. These people were Hun Ing and the others from Star Lane City. Seeing Hun Ing and the others, Ing Feng was pleasantly surprised. He walked toward them and said respectfully, Ing Feng welcomes all of you. Prince Ing Feng, you're too kind. Hearing Ing Feng's words, Hun Ing smiled faintly and greeted Ing Feng courteously. Although Ing Feng was not strong, he was still the prince of the Eagle Kingdom. Hun Ing still had to show him some respect. After replying to Ing Feng, Hun Ing looked at Imo Chinyan with a cold smile and said, The Purple Eye, you were lucky enough to escape last time. This time, we won't give you another chance. Lucky enough to escape? Hearing Hun Ying's words, Imo Chinyan smiled nonchalantly and replied, I didn't think that you would come to seek death again. I was in a good mood the last time and didn't kill you. Seek death? Hearing Imo Chinyan's words, Ing Feng smiled coldly. He looked at Imo Chinyan and said, The Purple Eye, there's no point in trying to win a battle of words. Everyone knows that you no longer have the support of the formation. Without the power of the formation, what else can you do? Is that so? Hearing Ing Feng's words, Imo Chinyan smiled coldly. He looked at Ing Feng and said coldly, Even if I don't use the formation, killing you will be as easy as flipping my hand. You were lucky enough to escape last time, but instead of hiding obediently, you actually dared to jump around in front of me. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Sun incinerating mountain shattering blade. As soon as Imo Chinyan finished speaking, he slashed at Ing Feng with fiery silk blade. His movements were swift and decisive. Prince Ing Feng, be careful. Seeing Imo Chinyan's actions, Hun Ing and the others' expressions changed and they warned Ing Feng. They were well aware of Imo Chinyan's strength. Even Fan Xian could not take a single blow from Imo Chinyan, let alone Ing Feng. Hearing Hun Ing and the others' warnings, Ing Feng did not dare hesitate and immediately blocked the attack. I Force Ray. A cold smile appeared on the corners of Imo Chinyan's mouth when he saw Ing Feng block his attack, and then 2 rays of light shot out from his eyes. The 2 Eye Force rays emitted 2 auras that were enough to make a true Energy Realm LV7 cultivator pale. Demonic Eye Ray. Oh no. Seeing Imo Chinyan's Eye Force ray, Hun Ing and the others' expressions changed and they cursed. They clearly remembered that Corpse Bin, who was at the 9th level of the true origin stage, had been instantly killed by Imo Chinyan's attack during the battle. Now that Ing Feng was facing Imo Chinyan's attack, it was very likely that he would die. Poochie. However, before Hun Ing and the others could warn Ing Feng, the Eye Force ray had already pierced through Ing Feng's head. Ing Feng was instantly killed with 1 blow. After seeing this scene, everyone's expressions immediately changed. They looked at Imo Chinyan with awe and fear in their eyes. After he killed Ing Feng, Imo Chinyan revealed a cold and indifferent expression. He gazed at the people in the surroundings of the city lord's estate and said, Now, I'll give all of you 10 breaths of time to leave 4 Symbol City immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for starting a slaughter once more. Starting a massacre again? Hearing Imo Chinyan's words, everyone's expressions changed and fear rose in their hearts. They still remembered that when Imo Chinyan said he was going to start a massacre, he had killed thousands of cultivators outside the 9 temples. Now that Imo Chinyan said the same thing again, would he kill thousands of cultivators again? At this moment, fear rose in some people's hearts and they planned to leave 4 Symbol City immediately. The stakes were too high and they did not dare to take the risk because if they lost, they would lose their lives. A short while later, Some people who had originally come to watch the show fled out of four-symbol city one after another. The Purple Eye, we'll meet again. Seeing the situation, Hulai and Fan Fong did not say anything else. They clasped their hands at Emo Qingyun and walked out of four-symbol city together. The two of you. Seeing Fan Fong and Hulai two people's actions, Hun Fei's face immediately darkened. He gritted his teeth and berated Hulai two people. It was just that Hulai two people did not take Hun Fei's enraged words to heart in the slightest. They gave him a disdainful glance and continued walking out of four-symbol city. Seeing Hulai and Fan Fong two people's attitude, Hun Fei's face became grim to the extreme. He gnashed his teeth and said, "Humph! The two of you don't have to be smug. After I finish off the Purple Eye, I'll slowly take care of you guys." Seeing Hulai and Fan Fong two people leave, some people who were originally not determined also left four symbols city one after another. Before long, the people in four-symbol city were reduced by close to one-third. Killing intent radiated from Emo Qingyun as he looked at the people who remained. He said coldly, "Since all of you want to die, don't blame me for being ruthless." The expressions of the remaining people changed when they heard Emo Qingyun's words. They all showed disdain. "The Purple Eye, aren't you afraid of biting your tongue when you talk big? There are a few thousand of us here. Can't we deal with you alone?" "That's right. Without the might of the formation, you're even less than a dog in our eyes. We're different from outside the Nine Temples treasure trove this time. We have experts from the 10 kingdoms here. That's right. You won't be able to escape this time. It's best if you obediently hand over the treasure trove and take the initiative to commit suicide. Brothers, let's attack together. Slay the demon and uphold justice. Slay the demon and uphold justice." For a moment, arrogance appeared on the faces of the surrounding people as they spoke righteously. It was as if their current actions were a matter of upholding justice. Slay the demon and uphold justice? Emo Qingyun smiled disdainfully when he heard the crowd's words. He said disdainfully, "A few thousand people against a single one of us. So this is the so-called justice? In my opinion, there's no need for it." The faces of the surrounding people immediately sank when they heard Emo Qingyun's words, and they retorted, Everyone has the right to slay a demon like you. There's no need to talk about morality or etiquette. That's right. There's no need to talk about rules when dealing with a demon. A demon like him should be hacked to pieces. Let's attack together and kill him. We'll return peace to the 100 countries battlefield." At this moment, everyone spoke out in excitement once again, treating themselves as the embodiment of justice. The corners of Emo Qingyun's mouth twitched when he heard their words. He sneered, "I've already given you a chance. Since you insist on seeking death, I'll fulfill your wish." "The Purple Eye, your words won't scare everyone." Disdain appeared on Hun Ying's face when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. He replied, "If you really have a way to deal with everyone, why aren't you doing it? Don't you have a very powerful formation? Why haven't you used it yet? Since you want to see a formation so much, I'll satisfy you." The corners of Emo Qingyun's lips curled when he heard Hun Ying's words. He smiled playfully. Chapter 250. Under Emo Qingyun's action, a light screen immediately appeared beside him, enveloping him and Ling Luo and the rest inside. This was the lesser 5 elements star formation. Array formation? The moment they saw this scene, the surrounding people's expressions twitched, revealing a trace of shock and panic. The scene before their eyes seemed to be somewhat different from what they imagined. Wasn't the Purple Eye unable to set up array formations? But what was this light screen before their eyes? Could this not be an array formation? At this moment, doubt and puzzlement arose in everyone's hearts. After a brief moment of doubt, they obtained an answer in their hearts. They had miscalculated this time. The purple-eyed devil monarch could still set up arrays. The purple eye can still set up array formations. Everyone, quickly flee for your lives. The moment they saw Emo Qinyun set up the array formation, the surrounding people's expressions immediately changed drastically. Some people already started fleeing for their lives. Emo Qinyun's current performance completely exceeded their expectations. Want to flee? Seeing everyone's actions, a cold smile surfaced on Emo Qinyun's face as he said coldly, "You guys already don't have this chance." At the same time that Emo Qinyun spoke, a crimson light screen flew out from the Nine Temples array disk with extreme speed, instantly enveloping the entire Four Symbols city within. The Burning Flame Heaven Descending Array was set up. Following the Burning Flame Heaven Descending Array, those people who were preparing to flee for their lives were all stopped. Seeing this scene, the people who left Four Symbols City previously all revealed expressions like they had just survived a calamity. P-array formation. The purple eye can still set up array formations, so close. Luckily I escaped quickly. Otherwise, I would really be dead this time. A bunch of idiots. How can the purple eyes things be so easy to snatch? Don't know the difference between life and death. At this moment, everyone outside Four Symbols City was gloating over their misfortune. Looks like we made a very wise choice. After seeing this, Fan Fong smiled faintly and sighed. Hee, they've underestimated the purple eye. He's not someone to be trifled with. I'm afraid Soul Puppet and the others are doomed this time. After Hu Lai heard this, he could not help but let out a sigh. Within Four Symbols City, the expressions of the people from the 10 great kingdoms twitched when they saw Emo Qinyun's formation. They were shocked by the scene before them. They all knew that the array set up by the purple-eyed devil monarch was terrifying. At this moment, they were probably in trouble. You can actually set up arrays? The Soul Puppet's face twitched when it saw this. It looked at Emo Qinyun in panic. Did I say that I can't set up formations? Hearing Soul Puppet's words, Emo Qinyun looked at him mockingly and said disdainfully, "Sometimes it's not a good thing to be too smart. Haven't you heard of the saying, cleverness can be the downfall of cleverness? Cleverness can be the downfall of cleverness?" Hearing Emo Qinyun's words, the Soul Puppet's expression changed and revealed a trace of bitterness. However, he could not refute Emo Qinyun's words. This time, if he had not jumped to the conclusion that Emo Qinyun could not set up formations, they would not have been in such a predicament. Then, they would not have fallen into such a situation. Immediately, Soul Puppet revealed a bitter expression and looked at Emo Qinyun. He said coldly, "Then why didn't you set up a formation in Star Lane City last time?" "In Star Lane City?" Hearing Hun Ying's words, a faint smile appeared on Emo Qinyun's lips. He replied, "Last time in Star Lane City, I was indeed unable to set up a formation. However, you should remember that I was at the auction house. Did you bid for the 100 power runic stones? Could it be because of the power runic stones?" Hearing Emo Qinyun's words, the expressions of Soul Puppet and the others changed and revealed a look of shock. Could it be that they were defeated this time because of the 100 power runic stones? As soon as this thought appeared, a sense of regret rose in the hearts of Soul Puppet and the others. They felt resentful. If they had not been arrogant and pieced the elemental spirit stones together, no matter how wealthy Emo Qinyun was, he would not have been able to compete with them. In that case, the power runic stones would have been theirs. In that case, Emo Qinyun would not have the power runic stones and could not set up a formation. This would not have happened. It could be said that in this confrontation with Emo Qinyun, he had made one wrong move and lost the whole game. Now that I have told you all this, you can die in peace. With that, Emo Qinyun did not say anything else. He directly controlled the burning flame descending formation and bombarded Soul Puppet and the others. Boom. 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 Under Emo Qinyun's control, the burning flame descending formation immediately produced a buzzing sound and huge fireballs appeared one after another. Not long after, these fireballs came crashing down at an extremely fast speed, bombarding the people below. Bang! 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 As the fireballs smashed down, they immediately emitted a terrifying heat wave that engulfed the people around them. No. No, I don't want to die yet. Faced with the engulfment of these heat waves, someone immediately cried out in panic and revealed a look of horror. However, their horror was of no use. In a short while, nearly 100 cultivators were directly burned to ashes under the engulfment of the flames. Not even a trace of them was left. Let's join forces to break the formation and leave this place. After seeing the horror of the burning flame descending formation, Soul Puppet did not dare to hesitate and immediately suggested to everyone. All right. Hearing Soul Puppet's words, the others immediately nodded in response and joined forces to break the formation. Bang! 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 Under the attacks of Soul Puppet and the others, the burning flame descending formation immediately produced a series of loud noises. However, under the attacks of Soul Puppet and the others, the burning flame descending formation did not even budge. Seeing this scene, Soul Puppet and the others' expressions immediately turned ugly. The power of the burning flame descending formation was beyond their expectations. At the same time, a large fireball smashed beside Soul Puppet and the others, engulfing a person from Saber Kingdom. Save me! Faced with the engulfment of the fireball, the person from Saber Kingdom was burned to ashes before he could even finish his sentence. Seeing this scene, the other people from the 10 great kingdoms were so frightened that their expressions immediately twitched, revealing looks of horror on their faces. Everyone, don't hold back. Show us your trump cards. At this moment, Soul Puppet did not dare to hold back any longer because they might all die here if they were not careful. Immediately, Soul Puppet and the others displayed their trump cards and bombarded the burning flame descending formation. Bang bang bang! Faced with the attacks of Soul Puppet and the others, the burning flame descending formation was once again bombarded with loud noises. However, there were still no signs of it being broken. How could this be? Seeing this scene, Soul Puppet and the others panicked. A trace of fear and despair flashed in their eyes. They had even displayed their trump cards, but they still could not break the burning flame descending formation. Were they really going to die here? At this moment, the people from the 10 great kingdoms were finally afraid. Seeing everyone's actions, Emochinyon looked at Soul Puppet and the others with a sneer and said, "Soul Puppet, don't waste your time. You can't break the burning flame descending formation." Hearing Emochinyon's words, Soul Puppet and the others' expressions twitched. The fear and panic on their faces grew even stronger. Then, Soul Puppet's expression became flustered, and his tone was somewhat nervous as he said, "The Purple Eye, do you really want to become enemies with the 10 great kingdoms? Aren't you afraid of the 10 great kingdoms' revenge?" "What are the 10 great kingdoms?" Hearing Soul Puppet's threat, Emochinyon replied disdainfully and said coldly, "Moreover, I don't think I've ever wanted to become enemies with the 10 great kingdoms, right? It's just that you've always coveted my treasure and used hypocritical excuses to try and snatch my treasure." Hearing Emochinyon's words, Soul Puppet and the others were speechless. They could not refute Emochinyon's words. For a moment, Soul Puppet and the others fell silent. After a short silence, Soul Puppet's expression darkened, and he said coldly to Emochinyon, "The Purple Eye, it was all our fault before. I apologize to you. As long as you let us go now, the people of the 10 great kingdoms will definitely not cause trouble for you in the future." "Let you go?" Hearing Soul Puppet's words, Emochinyon immediately sneered and said nonchalantly, "So what if the 10 great kingdoms cause trouble for me? Do you think I'm afraid? If they cause trouble for me, I'll just kill a few more people. I've said so much to you. It's time to send you on your way." As soon as Emochinyon finished speaking, he controlled the burning flame descending formation and focused its firepower on Soul Puppet and the others. Facing the dense bombardment of fireballs, although the people of the 10 great kingdoms were not weak, they could not withstand the frenzied bombardment of fireballs. In a short while, a few people from the 10 great kingdoms were hit by the fireballs and burned into black smoke. Seeing the people around them being killed one after another, the people of the 10 great kingdoms immediately looked horrified. They were no different from the others. The Purple Eye, I was wrong. Please let me go. I won't cause trouble for you anymore. The Purple Eye, I'm the young Marquis of the Spear Kingdom. As long as you let me go, I can give you a lot of money. The Purple Eye, as long as you let me go, I'll listen to you in the future. I'll even be your dog. For a moment, the people of the 10 great kingdoms kept begging for mercy. They had lost all of their previous prestige. However, Emo Chingyun paid no attention to their pleas. His face remained cold and indifferent. Master is so powerful. Pink Pink and the others were completely dumbfounded when they saw this scene. They looked horrified. Now, they finally knew what had happened outside the 9 temples' secret treasure. At this moment, they realized how wise it was for them to submit to Emo Chingyun. As more and more people were killed, the people in the burning sky descending formation panicked. They were scared out of their wit. The Purple Eye, we were wrong. Please give me a chance. Spare my life. The Purple Eye, as long as you let me go, I'll be your slave. I don't want to die. I'm just here to join in the fun. Please spare my life. In a moment, all sorts of pleas for mercy were heard. Everyone's tone was filled with terror. Emo Chingyun ignored their pleas. Emo Chingyun knew very well that if he fell into the other party's hands now, the other party would not let him go either. This was the reality of the world. After looking at the crowd coldly, Emo Chingyun walked toward the metal cage and slashed at it with the fire dragon saber. Clang clang clang. Under Emo Chingyun's attack, the metal cage was immediately broken and a gap appeared. Chapter 251. It's just some minor injuries. Don't worry, brother Emo. After hearing Emo Chingyun's words, Lu Fengliang and the others showed indifference and responded to Emo Chingyun. Hearing their words, Emo Chingyun's expression relaxed a little. He said to everyone, "Rest and recover first. I'll deal with these guys in the descending flame formation." Okay. After hearing Emo Chingyun's words, Lu Fengliang and the others nodded in response. They did not say anything else and sat down cross-legged to rest and recover. Seeing Lu Fengliang and the others sit down to rest, Emo Chingyun controlled the descending flame formation to slaughter the remaining people in the formation. Faced with Emo Chingyun's powerful attack, the number of people in the descending flame formation immediately decreased rapidly. Soon, only a few people from the 10 great kingdoms were left in the descending flame formation. They were still struggling to survive with their trump cards. You don't have to struggle anymore. You won't survive in this descending flame formation. Emo Chingyun had a mocking expression on his face when he saw the sorry state of the people of the 10 great kingdoms, and he spoke coldly to them. Han Ing and the others wore bitter expressions when they heard Emo Chingyun's words. Regret rose in their hearts. They had nothing better to do. Why did they have to provoke the demon the Purple Eye? This guy was a mad demon who had slaughtered thousands of people in a fit of rage. How could it be easy to offend such a person? Purple-eyed Devil Monarch, we have offended you before. Please give us a chance to apologize. At this moment, Han Ing was no longer as arrogant as before. His tone softened as he persuaded Emo Chingyun, killing us won't do you any good. Instead, you'll attract the hatred of the 10 great kingdoms. What's the point? After hearing Han Ying's words, Emo Chingyun smiled coldly. He looked at everyone playfully and said, "You're right. Killing you won't do me any good." Upon hearing Emo Chingyun's words, the eyes of Han Ing and the others immediately lit up. They were overjoyed as they said, "So, you agree to let us go?" Then, Han Ing and the others looked expectant. They nervously waited for Emo Chingyun's answer. "Let you go? When he saw Hun Ing and the others' expressions, the mocking expression on Emo Qingyun's face immediately intensified. You're overthinking things. I, Emo Qingyun, am used to taking revenge and complaining when I have a grudge. Since you want to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed. So, all of you die. As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he controlled the burning flame descending formation to attack Hun Ing and the others. The light protecting Soul Puppet and the others immediately dimmed under the barrage of attacks. Not long after, several people were hit by the fireball and were devoured into ashes, disappearing without a trace. Just like that, as time passed, the people around Soul Puppet were killed one after another. One by one, they were burned to ashes by the flames. Brother Soul Puppet, save me. Before these people died, they all cried out for help to Soul Puppet. Their eyes were filled with terror. After a while, Soul Puppet was the only one left among the people from the 10 great kingdoms. At this moment, several huge fireballs with terrifying heat waves blasted towards the Soul Puppet at an extremely fast speed. Seeing the fireballs coming, Soul Puppet's expression immediately twitched. He knew very well that if he was hit by these fireballs, he would definitely die. However, at this time, he had no way out. He could only wait for the fireballs to descend. After this discovery, Soul Puppet's eyes immediately turned blood red. His expression became ferocious as he said, "The purple eye, wait for the endless pursuit of the 10 great kingdoms." Bang! While the Soul Puppet was speaking, a few huge fireballs swallowed him up and burned him to ashes. After killing Soul Puppet, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate any longer. He moved and walked into the burning flame descending formation to count the spoils of war. A quarter of an hour later, a satisfied smile appeared on Emo Qingyun's face as he stopped what he was doing. He had collected all the Qiankuan bags in the burning flame descending formation. Compared to the previous time outside the 9 temples, his harvest this time seemed to be even more. After doing all this, Emo Qingyun walked to Lu Fengliang and the others with a faint smile and said, "Everyone, 4 Symbol City has been destroyed under the attack of the burning flame descending formation. Let's go to Bloodbath City now." Okay. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Lu Fengliang and the others nodded in agreement with Emo Qingyun. Seeing everyone's response, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated and led the way to Bloodbath City. Several hours later, Emo Qingyun and the others arrived at the city lord residence of Bloodbath City. Duan Wei welcomes Master and everyone. When Duan Wei saw Emo Qingyun and the others arrive, he immediately came out of the city lord residence to welcome Emo Qingyun. "Duan Wei, go and arrange a few rooms for everyone to rest." Seeing Duan Wei approach, Emo Qingyun didn't say much to him and directly gave him orders. Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's order, Duan Wei did not dare to hesitate and immediately got to work, arranging accommodations for Pink and the others to rest. While Duan Wei was arranging accommodations for Pink and the others, Emo Qingyun found a secret cultivation room and walked in, ready to count the spoils of war. Arriving at the secret cultivation room, Emo Qingyun sat down cross-legged and took out the Qiankuan bags he had obtained previously and checked them one by one. After a round of checking, Emo Qingyun's face immediately revealed a look of surprise. Brilliant bone gold, dark moon spirit accumulation, 100 calamity dragon revolving rock. At this moment, items appeared in front of Emo Qingyun. Looking at the items in front of him, Emo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised. With these items, the materials I need to cultivate He Xian's incarnation will not be a problem. Immediately, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate and put away these items separately, one after another, in order to be used for cultivation in the future. After several hours, all the items were finally put away according to their categories. At this moment, he clearly knew how much he had gained this time. He had obtained a total of 5 to 6 billion elemental spirit stones, millions of battlefield elemental crystals, and a large amount of alchemy materials, refining materials, various weapons and armor. It could be said that after this battle, Mo Qingyun had really become rich overnight. At this moment, as Mo Qingyun was putting away the various items, a map attracted his attention. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun picked up the map and looked at it. After taking a look, Mo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised. This map was actually related to Eye Devil. According to the description of the map, there were countless eye demons in this place, and there were also some mysterious treasures. This was definitely excellent news for Mo Qingyun. Eye Demon Abyss. I must go and take a look. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with determination and he secretly made a decision. Immediately, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and directly walked out of the secret room. Chapter 252. Brother Lu, Brother Long. I have to leave Bloodpool City immediately. After finding Lu Fengliang and the rest, Mo Qingyun informed them, due to the dangers of the place, I can't bring you along. Mo Qingyun continued, also, I've killed people from the 10 great kingdoms this time. They definitely won't let this matter rest. To avoid a repeat of what happened in Pink City, after I leave Bloodpool City, you guys should leave as well. Alright, we understand. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Lu Fengliang and the rest showed signs of understanding. They nodded and said, Brother Mo, don't worry. We'll take care of ourselves. At this moment, Long Yutian chuckled and patted Ling Luo's shoulder. Brother Mo, don't worry. This time, I'll keep an eye on this kid and won't let him cause any trouble. Brother Long, don't say that. I'll lose face. Ling Luo retorted gloomily. Seeing Ling Luo's expression, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and teased him. Kid, you went to have fun and got caught red-handed. You still have the nerve to say that you'll lose face. Boss, you. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ling Luo was instantly speechless. Hee. Seeing Ling Luo's deflated expression, Ruo Shui and Pink covered their mouths and laughed. As for the others, seeing Ling Luo's deflated expression, they all laughed, making Ling Luo depressed. After chatting for a while, Mo Qingyun took out a few Qiankuan bags and handed them to Lu Fengliang and the rest, saying, inside these Qiankuan bags are some elemental holy stones, battlefield origin crystals, and some elixirs. Take them and refine them in the future to raise your cultivation. Okay. In response to Mo Qingyun's actions, Lu Fengliang and the others didn't say much and directly put away the Qiankuan pouch. Based on their relationship with Mo Qingyun, it would seem too distant to say such things. Seeing that Lu Fengliang and the others had accepted the Qiankuan bags, Mo Qingyun took out 2 more. He passed the saber qi he obtained from Fan Xian to Lu Fengliang and said, Brother Lu, these are 2 strands of saber qi condensed by Pill Palace Realm experts. Carry them with you. In the future, they should be able to resolve 2 dangers for you. This, hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the expressions of Lu Fengliang and the others changed. They hesitated and said worriedly, Brother Mo, if you give this saber qi to us, what will you use to defend yourself? Hearing Lu Fengliang and the others' words of concern, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, I have the 9 temples array disc with me. In this 100 countries battlefield, the number of people who can harm me can be counted on one hand. You don't have to worry too much. If that's the case, I'll accept it. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Lu Fengliang no longer hesitated and kept the 2 strands of saber qi into his Qiankuan pouch. Seeing that Lu Fengliang had kept the saber qi, Mo Qingyun looked towards Pink and the others and said, Pink, Duan Wei, after I leave, you guys should also leave Bloodbath City. Yes, master. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Pink and the others immediately nodded respectfully in response. Seeing their actions, Mo Qingyun nodded and took out a few more Qiankuan pouches. He handed them to Pink and the others and said, "Here are some origin spirit stones, battlefield origin crystals, and pills. Take them. You can use them to increase your cultivation in the future." Seeing Emo Qingyun's actions, Pink and the others were moved. Emo Qingyun had actually prepared these things for them. At this moment, while Pink and the others were moved, Emo Qingyun took out another strand of saber chi and handed it to Pink. He said, "Pink, keep this strand of saber chi with you. When you're in danger, use it. It should be able to resolve a crisis for you." "Thank you, Master." Seeing Emo Qingyun's actions, Pink's eyes immediately glowed. She looked at Emo Qingyun emotionally. Emo Qingyun had actually prepared a strand of saber chi for them to protect themselves. After that, Emo Qingyun gave some instructions to the others before leaving Bloodbath City and heading to the Eye Devil Abyss. After Emo Qingyun left, Lu Fengliang and the others did not hesitate and left Bloodbath City one after another. When Emo Qingyun left Bloodbath City and headed to the Eye Devil Abyss, the news of him killing the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms quickly spread throughout the 100 countries battlefield. After everyone learned that Emo Qingyun had killed the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms, they were all extremely shocked in their hearts. The people from the 10 Great Kingdoms were not to be trifled with. Moreover, Emo Qingyun had killed hundreds of them in one go. In their opinion, Emo Qingyun had broken through the sky this time. The Purple Eye is too fierce. He killed so many people from the 10 Great Kingdoms. Is he declaring war on the 10 Great Kingdoms? Looks like we've underestimated the Purple Eye's ruthlessness in the past. He's a truly ruthless person. We'd better not provoke the Purple Eye in the future. He doesn't even care about the 10 Great Kingdoms. We'll be courting death if we provoke him. I just don't know if he can escape the 10 Great Kingdoms' pursuit after killing so many people from the 10 Great Kingdoms this time. I don't think so. Previously, there was a guy who also killed people from the 10 Great Kingdoms. In the end, he was killed by the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms in just a few days. After everyone learned that Emo Qingyun had killed the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms, they sighed in their hearts. However, they were more worried for Emo Qingyun. After all, the strength of the 10 Great Kingdoms was obvious to all. In their opinion, Emo Qingyun was still a little inferior to the 10 Great Kingdoms. 10 Great Kingdoms Campsite in 10 Great Kingdoms City. After the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms learned that Emo Qingyun had killed Hun Ing and the others in the city governor's mansion of 10 Great Kingdoms, they all gathered here. Brother Hunyang, the Purple Eye, is too arrogant. He even dares to kill people from the 10 Great Kingdoms. That's right. We absolutely can't let this matter rest. We must tear him into pieces. I heard that the Purple Eye is very skilled in formations. It'll be a little troublesome to deal with him. He's just a 5th level True Energy Realm kid. So what if he's skilled in formations? I don't believe that his formations can be used indefinitely. At this moment, everyone in the 10 Great Kingdoms campsite expressed their thoughts. Hearing everyone's thoughts, Hun Yang's expression darkened. After pondering for a moment, he said, "Don't worry about dealing with the Purple Eye. The most important thing now is to explore the Eye Demon Abyss." That's right. As long as we obtain the inheritance of the expert at the bottom of the Eye Demon Abyss, it'll be a piece of cake to deal with the Purple Eye. After hearing Hun Yang's words, someone immediately agreed. Then, the attention of the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms shifted to the Eye Demon Abyss as they discussed things to take note of. Emo Qingyun was unaware of the reactions of the outside world. At this moment, he was rushing towards the Eye Demon Abyss with all his might. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Under Emo Qingyun's crazy rush, he finally arrived outside the Eye Demon Abyss. "I'm finally here." Looking at the bottomless steep slope in front of him, Emo Qingyun revealed a faint smile on his face. He couldn't help but feel excited. As long as he continued to refine the Eye Demon bloodline and strengthen his Eye's bloodline, the 100 countries battlefield suppression on his Pill Palace would become lower and lower. Then, he would be able to fully utilize the power of the Pill Palace. At that time, no matter how many tricks the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms had up their sleeves, he wouldn't be afraid. After a simple look at the situation in the Eye Demon Abyss, Mo Qingyun began to head towards the Eye Demon Abyss. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that the path in the Eye Demon Abyss wasn't steep. It was just a gentle slope, so it wasn't difficult to go deeper. As he continued to head deeper into the Eye Demon Abyss, Mo Qingyun realized that the Eye Demon Abyss was like a collapsed palace. At the bottom of the abyss, there were many collapsed houses, as if they had been struck by an earthquake. Xiao. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun was looking at the scene in front of him, a ray of purple light shot towards him. It was an eye demon with 3 pairs of wings. Its strength was comparable to the true energy realm's 3rd level. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's expression changed. He revealed a look of surprise as he charged towards the eye demon. "Humph. I want to see if your eye rays are stronger or if my eye rays are stronger." As Mo Qingyun spoke, a ray of purple light flashed across his eyes and shot towards the eye demon. Bang! Then, the 2 rays of eye power collided with each other, making a dull sound. At the same time, the eye power ray of the eye demon was dispersed by Mo Qingyun's eye power ray. After destroying the eye power ray of the eye demon, Mo Qingyun's eye power ray didn't stop. It continued to shoot towards the eye demon at an extremely fast speed. Poochie! Then, the eye demon was pierced through by the eye power ray. It fell to the ground from mid-air and twitched. After a while, it stopped breathing. He killed the eye demon in one move. If this was seen by others, they would definitely be shocked. The eye demon that they were terrified of was killed so easily. Finished in one move. If this is the case, it will be easy to deal with the eye demon. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun walked over to Eye Devil's corpse with a look of joy. He started to refine Eye Devil. As Mo Qingyun started to refine the eye demon, the corpse of the eye demon immediately shriveled up. After a while, there was only skin left. One day later, Mo Qingyun, who was in the midst of cultivation, finally opened his eyes. The aura in his eyes grew stronger. "I've finished refining the bloodline of the eye demon. It's time to go deeper into the eye demon abyss." With this thought, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate anymore. He immediately got up and went deeper into the eye demon abyss. However, when Mo Qingyun went deeper into the eye demon abyss, a shocking scene happened. A large number of corpses of the eye demon appeared in front of him. Moreover, the bloodline in the corpses of the eye demon seemed to have been forcefully extracted. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's expression changed. His heart skipped a beat as he thought of someone. Yan Qiuyang. Only he had the ability to do this. Yan Qiuyang. He came before me. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's face turned gloomy and he immediately went deeper into the eye demon abyss. At this moment, as Mo Qingyun was moving forward, a large group of people came behind him. These people weren't weak. There's someone in front. Chapter 253. This kid looks somewhat familiar. Don't you guys have the same feeling? Indeed, somewhat familiar. It's just that I can't recall where I've seen him before. He's the purple eye. That kid is the purple eye. What? He's the purple eye? Truly searching high and low for him. He actually bumped into us himself. After recognizing Mo Qingyun's identity, the expressions of the 10 Great Kingdoms people all changed, revealing furious looks. It turned out that it was this kid who killed over 100 of their 10 Great Kingdoms people. Everyone attacked together. Don't let this kid escape. The moment they recognized Mo Qingyun, the 10 Great Kingdoms people revealed gloomy expressions and surrounded Mo Qingyun with extreme speed. People from the 10 Great Kingdoms? Seeing the crowd closing in on him with extreme speed, Mo Qingyun's expression changed, revealing a trace of surprise. To think that he had just entered the devil abyss and bumped into these fellows. It was truly a narrow road for enemies. However, recalling that his map was obtained from the soul puppet, Mo Qingyun also felt relieved in his heart. The soul puppet possessed the map here. It was also not a strange thing for the 10 Great Kingdoms people to appear here. Sweeping a glance across the crowd, Mo Qingyun discovered that there was no sign of Fan Fong and Hu Lai among the crowd. Presumably, they should not have returned to the 10 Great Kingdoms campsite yet. Therefore, they did not arrive with the crowd in time. As the 10 Great Kingdoms people closed in rapidly, Mo Qingyun's path was blocked by them before long. Let's attack immediately. Don't give him time to set up the array formation. The moment they blocked Mo Qingyun's path, one of the 10 Great Kingdoms people uttered these cold words. After this person's words fell, the others did not hesitate anymore and started attacking Mo Qingyun one after another. The moment these people from the 10 Great Kingdoms attacked, they did not hold back in the slightest, directly displaying various trump cards against Mo Qingyun. Looking at their actions, it seemed as if they were afraid that Mo Qingyun would run away. Then, the people of the 10 Great Kingdoms attacked. In an instant, all sorts of powerful attacks that were comparable to those in the Yuan Dan realm and half-step Pill Palace flew towards Mo Qingyun. Looks like these guys really hate me to the bone. Seeing the actions of the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms, Mo Qingyun's expression changed, revealing a bitter smile. As far as he was concerned, unless the members of the 10 Great Kingdoms hated him to the bone, it was impossible for them to be so ruthless as soon as they attacked. A portal. Seeing that everyone was attacking him, Mo Qingyun did not dare to hesitate and immediately used his martial spirit's ability to dodge the attack. The people from the 10 Great Kingdoms were too ruthless. Even if they used the formation to defend, they might not be able to withstand it. What's more, even if he used the array formation to block everyone's attack, the power of the 9 Temples array disc would be greatly depleted. This was not something Mo Qingyun wanted to see. The 9 Temples array disc was one of his trump cards. Unless it was a last resort, it was best not to use the array's power. Once the portal was formed, Mo Qingyun entered it in a flash and disappeared from the spot. Not long after, Mo Qingyun passed through the teleportation gate and appeared not far ahead. As for why he did not escape further away, it was because Mo Qingyun had other concerns in his heart. The dangers in the devil abyss were unknown. Moreover, there were many devils. If he were to be teleported into the devil's nest, then he would be in big trouble. Mo Qingyun did not want to see that happen. As the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms were making too much of a commotion, they did not notice that Mo Qingyun had used the portal to escape. Just as Mo Qingyun left the spot, all sorts of attacks whizzed over and bombarded the spot where he was standing. Bang bang bang, in an instant, all sorts of sounds were heard. Waves of terrifying elemental energy waves were emitted, causing the ground to shake. Dong dong dong, under the terrifying waves of elemental energy waves, some of the dilapidated houses in the surroundings collapsed, raising clouds of dust. After a while, as the dust settled, the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms slowly approached the place where Mo Qingyun had been standing. They wanted to see if Mo Qingyun was dead. At first glance, they realized that other than a huge crater, there was no trace of Mo Qingyun. Seeing this, everyone was puzzled and began to guess in their hearts. Do you guys think the purple-eyed devil monarch is dead? There's not even a shadow of him now. He should be dead. He's most likely dead. Even if we were to face such an attack, we wouldn't have the slightest chance of survival. If he doesn't die, the next time I see him, I'll call him Grandpa. In an instant, the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms sneered complacently, thinking that Mo Qingyun was dead for sure. However, while the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms were having such thoughts, Mo Qingyun, who was not far in front of them, mocked, "Kid, don't spout nonsense. I don't know your grandmother and I can't give birth to such a stupid grandson." The purple eye was not dead? As soon as they heard Emo Qingyun's words, the expressions of the people from the 10 great kingdoms changed. The purple eye was still alive in the face of their attacks. This kid was too strange. The purple eye, don't be so smug. You must die today. After a brief moment of shock, some of the people from the 10 great kingdoms charged at Emo Qingyun again with gloomy expressions. Seeing their actions, Emo Qingyun looked at them mockingly and replied, I won't play with you guys for now. I'll take my time to deal with you guys when I'm inside the Eye Demon Abyss. Emo Qingyun knew very well that these guys had many trump cards in their hands, and it was not wise to fight with them now. He would let them enter the Eye Demon Abyss first and let the Eye Demon exhaust some of their technique. It would not be too late to deal with them then. Bird of prey break. As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, his body moved and rushed into the Eye Demon Abyss like a wild goose. After a while, Emo Qingyun could no longer be seen in the eyes of the people from the 10 great kingdoms. Seeing this, the faces of the people from the 10 great kingdoms immediately darkened. The purple-eyed Devil Emperor had escaped so easily in front of so many of them. To them, this was simply a great humiliation. Motherf ***, this guy ran away. The purple eye is very cunning. The next time we meet him, we can't let him get away. He can't get away. He entered the Eye Demon Abyss alone. He's dead for sure. For a moment, the people from the 10 great kingdoms looked gloomy and voiced their displeasure. Don't worry about the purple eye for now. Let's continue deeper into the Eye Demon Abyss. Seeing everyone's expressions, Hun Yang's expression changed, and he said to everyone in a low voice. Hearing Hun Yang's words, everyone shut their mouth. It seemed that Hun Yang held a high position in their hearts. Why are there so many Eye Demon corpses on the ground? At this moment, the expression of one of the people from the Corpse Kingdom changed as he looked at the corpses on the ground in surprise. The people who came before us, the purple-eyed Devil Monarch arrived before us. Could it be that he killed all these Eye Demons? Hearing the words of the people from the Corpse Kingdom, one of the people from the Blade Kingdom also looked puzzled and made a guess. It shouldn't be the purple eye. Hearing everyone's words, Hun Yang's expression changed slightly, and he said in a low voice, the way these Eye Demons died was tyrannically torn apart. Looking at the way they died, it seems like they were killed by puppets. Impossible. Hearing Hun Yang's words, the expressions of the people from the Puppet Kingdom changed. Disbelief filled their faces as they said, Our kingdom's people are all here. How can we kill Yenemo? Moreover, we don't have that kind of ability. Yen Qingfeng, why don't I see the 8th prince of your Puppet Kingdom, Yen Chuyang? At this moment, when the person from the Puppet Kingdom finished speaking, one of the people from the Sword Kingdom revealed an expression of surprise and asked him, You're talking about 8th brother? That kid probably went there to indulge in debauchery again. Hearing that person mention Yen Chuyang, Yen Qingfeng immediately revealed a disdainful expression and smiled indifferently. You suspect that he killed the Eye Demons? Ling Shuang, stop joking. Hee, that's true. Hearing Yen Qingfeng's words, everyone chuckled and expressed their agreement with Yen Qingfeng's words. With their understanding of Yen Chuyang, that guy definitely didn't have such ability. Alright, let's continue deeper. At this moment, while everyone was talking, Hun Yang's expression darkened slightly. He said to everyone and led the way into the Eye Demon Abyss. Seeing Hun Yang's actions, the others didn't say anything else and all walked into the Eye Demon Abyss. At this moment, when the people from the 10 kingdoms were going deeper into the Eye Demon Abyss, Emo Qingyun arrived at the interior of a huge collapsed palace. As soon as he walked into the palace, Missouri Qingyun saw a large number of skeletons. There were at least 10,000 skeletons. Why are there so many skeletons here? Seeing the skeletons before him, Emo Qingyun immediately felt uneasy and became even more vigilant. After discovering this, Emo Qingyun released his soul power and sensed the collapsed palace. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. However, at this moment, just as Mo Qingyun was about to sense the interior of the palace, dozens of flowing lights suddenly blasted towards him at an extremely fast speed. Eye demon! Dozens of eye demons! When he saw this scene, Mo Qingyun didn't dare hesitate in the slightest, and he quickly retreated. Dozens of eye demons weren't easy to deal with, especially when there were some with 7 or 8 pairs of wings among the eye demons. Bird of prey break! Mo Qingyun's body moved, and he turned into a streamer of light. He flashed out of the collapsed palace and fled towards the outside. Seeing Mo Qingyun escape, the eye demons chased after Mo Qingyun at an extremely fast speed and continuously released rays of eye power at Mo Qingyun. Soul Sky Seal. Fire Dragon Seal. Facing the attack of the eye demons, Mo Qingyun didn't dare to hesitate and immediately blocked it. After a short while, Soul Battle Seals and Fire Dragon Battle Seals appeared behind him, blocking eye demons' eye power rays. However, what surprised Mo Qingyun was that when he was escaping at an extremely fast speed, the guys from the 10 Great Kingdoms actually appeared in front of him again. These guys actually caught up with him. As a result, he felt as though he was being attacked from both sides. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun frowned. He began to ponder in his heart, thinking of a way to deal with it. Seeing Mo Qingyun rushing towards them, the expressions of the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms changed. They were somewhat surprised by the scene before them. The purple eye actually bumped into them again and was being chased by a large number of eye demons. He was really unlucky. Then, one of the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms sneered proudly and said, "The purple eye, you're actually being chased by dozens of eye demons. You're really unlucky. Let's see where you can run to this time." Then, the people from the 10 Great Kingdoms charged towards Mo Qingyun at an extremely fast speed. Got it! You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.